Charlotte Motor Speedway has quickly become a fan favorite once more, putting on thrilling racing with an aging surface. We have this special 1.5 mile speedway on hand tonight for the MX Raps 250, a 2025 Veterans Day special. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Concord, North Carolina. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Murtis and Zachary King, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Tonight's coverage from Charlotte is brought to you by Sundance Pizza, by the BRB Racing League, and by all series partners. We've got a lot to get into tonight. Of course, this is kicking off this evening's MX Raps pre-race show. There is a bunch to digest, to talk about here tonight, so stick with us. We've got a lot to talk about. Before we go too much further, we want to give a nod to all who have served, to all who have paid the ultimate price, all who have sacrificed to protect our rights, our freedoms here in the United States of America. It is Veterans Day after all. We've got some veterans here in the series, veterans that are connected to the series, and we just want to take a moment, step aside, and pay some homage to those who have paid the ultimate price, those who have served, and those who are still with us. Stand by. And a big thank you to the U.S. Army and U.S. Marine Corps bands. As the playlist loops, I'll turn that back down. But we do appreciate the music there being used for us, and what a great way to give a nod to those who have served our great country. Let's get right into it, though, Zach King. We are here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, virtually at least, ready to go racing. Before we get to our drivers this evening, we got to talk about this racetrack, this very famous racetrack, particularly famous on patriotic weekends. Usually it's Memorial Day weekend paired with the Monaco Grand Prix and the Indianapolis 500. Today, well, we don't have any of that stuff going on. We're just sending ARCA cars around Charlotte for 165 laps.
Yeah, when you come to Charlotte, it's always a great facility. It's the home of stock cars. I mean, not really the home, but this is where all the teams are based out of in real life, and it's always a great track to come. I expect to see a lot of side-by-side racing. A lot of the drivers said it's going to be like a pack-style race, so I'd be really shocked. Don't be surprised if you see moves around the outside on restarts through turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4 to keep the momentum up, because that's going to be where a lot of these passes are going to come from, especially for the lead tonight.
And as we get into the iRacing.com sim, we'll bring in our first driver of the evening. That is going to be the one, the only, Dan Stoncaro. Before we talk to Dan, I do want to mention kind of the biggest reason we're bringing Dan in, because he has got a monumental task to take down the top driver in the series this week. The series has started something with MX Wraps. It's called the BRB Bonus Bracket Brawl, and essentially, we don't have a graphic for it this week. We'll try for next week at Wilkesboro, but if you paid attention to the NASCAR Cup Series over this past summer in 2025, those races that were on TNT, they had a bracket going in the background, and they had matchups, starting with 32 drivers down to 16, 8, 4, and 2. We're doing that here in the BRB Sundance Pro Series this season, and Dan Stoncaro, you have got the largest task of them all, to take down the top seed. That is points leader Brennan Maddox. We'll take a look at the points in a second, but that means you have got to go after the top dog in the series. So I got to ask you, Dan. He's 5th on the standings practice chart right now. What have you done in the last week, if anything, to get ready to take down the top dog?
Well, hey guys. I've done a lot of practice just kind of on my own this week. With my schedule, I don't really fit into a lot of the practice races that they have during the week, but thankfully I was able to hop in last night. But I mean, I think we all know I'm going to run my race and hope I stay clean and just hope for a bit of luck tonight.
Dan, obviously some memorable moments watching you racing on Pit Stop TV and everything. Take me through what's been going on in the background of your life.
Just we've been really busy with work. I got some family stuff going on. But besides that, I mean, I really enjoy doing this. I enjoy racing with you guys. And that's why I enjoy hopping on and doing this.
And I got to ask you really quick. I'll keep this short and sweet so you can get to practicing. Any Gatorade bottles near you tonight?
No, but I might have a scheme later in the season just to commemorate that moment.
Hey, best of luck. I know you've got a big task tonight. We've been watching you get better and better as seasons go by. And hey, this season, you got a chance to show yourself, take down the top dog. Anything can happen. Best of luck in the bracket.
Thank you, guys.
That is Dan Stoncaro, paired up with one driver we've been watching a lot. That's Kyle Clank, teammates over there at Synergy Racing Group. So definitely good to talk to Dan. We don't get to do that entirely, that often. So good to chat with him here this evening. You see the practice times on the left side of your screen. We'll keep those up for a couple of moments. But I do want to bring up, actually, in the YouTube chat quickly, I am pasting the link to the bracket where you can fill out your own BRB bracket, so you can see the bracket that way. So while we don't have a graphic yet, it's been a busy week, you can fill out the bracket and you can see the matchups through that link. So if you're in the YouTube chat, you can head to that link. Go ahead and do so now. See who's up against who. We'll also have spoiler and banner colors as you see on the number 62 there on your screen. That will designate kind of who's against who. Colors are matched up 1v1. So that'll help you keep track of that. We'll keep you abreast of that situation all night long. But without further ado, Zach, moving on down the line, we have got to look at those point standings we've already talked a little bit about. Here they are. And one driver that I want to call big attention to, I mean, there's a few here, really. I mean, Scott Fritz is up in third for, I think, the first time in his BRB career. Kyle Clank is nearly top 5, but Carl Pooler is 7th. And usually, in the BRB Racing League, he's been kind of a cut line driver. he is putting some points between himself and that cut line this season.
Yeah, Carl, he's been doing a phenomenal job over there at Maverick Motorsports. Made the switch in the offseason, needed a change of scenery. We see that all the time in pro sports with players going somewhere else, and they become a better person of themselves, and they're even better than what they've been. But Carl over here, he's been doing a phenomenal job over at Maverick Motorsports, running really, really well. He's been doing a phenomenal job.
And that brings us to our second driver of the evening. That is the great Carl Pooler. And Carl, I know this is a big opportunity for you. We talked about it, I believe, at Las Vegas last season, the last race of last season. This opportunity to come out with Maverick Motorsports here in season number 5. You do have some decent accolades to your benefit here on intermediates in this series. Pair that with the fact that you've now been racing with Maverick for what is now 4 races this season, make it 5 tonight. How do you feel?
Man, it's there's so much change. It's a totally change of environment, and I can be good with change sometimes. This one's, I'm getting used to it. Different voices in my head. I'm still actually getting used to how Brendan and how Zach sound. Dustin is has a pretty signature sound to him. Has a pretty signature voice. But other than that, it's just an adjustment. But I think I've had a lot of good luck. I'd say I put myself in a lot of good situations. Richmond could have been better if I didn't take 4. I should have just capitalized. Track position there. In Nashville, just got caught up in a mess down the front stretch. But other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. I love Charlotte. I really enjoyed this track. I'm struggling with the car, I feel, because it's a little more momentum based. You can kind of toy around with the next gen in that 5th gear. But I'm struggling a little bit with the ARCA car, and as a team, we all haven't really run this car a lot, so we're all kind of learning as a team. Obviously, Dustin and Brendan have been a little bit more successful at that, but it's an adjustment, and it's been interesting for sure.
Carl, 4th most BRB intermediate top 10s. What does that stat mean to you?
Oh man, I like consistency. I like being able to get points where they can be gotten, I guess. Worse use of the English language there, but it's I really am proud of that. I like my top 10s, especially around here with the competitiveness of the field. How there's a lot of talent through this field, and it just has increased exponentially in the past 5 seasons. Getting a top 10 at a place like Charlotte, it's good. All the intermediates are tough in their own way, but I think Charlotte's its own kind of beast, and it's tough. So it really makes me proud, and I like the finish. I like getting those top 10s. You get yourself in a position, you get better in positions in fronts, get top 5s, get the podiums, and so forth. So I think getting those top 10s consistently is a good stepping stone for myself.
And Carl, you've got a special paint scheme on your car this evening. We have a lot of star-spangled cars out there tonight. It is Veterans Day, but what can you tell us about this paint scheme for you?
Yeah, unfortunately, our dog Hades passed away Saturday morning at a very just shy of 11 years old. He would have been 11 on Thursday. It's been really tough. Obviously, the week before at Richmond, we were all sick at the house, and it's just been a really tough couple of weeks here at the Pooler household, and it's been a long weekend for sure. These last 2 days have already felt like a whole week, so it's been rough. But I'm glad Brendan and Maddox Raps can help me out with this. And remember, I know it was Veterans Day and everything, but this was a family member, meant a lot to everyone, so he's gonna be missed.
Hey, I love the paint scheme, and if you guys as a family are half as strong as Ashley's fantasy football team, I know you guys will get through it, and we're all here for you. Carl, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck out there tonight. Take Hades on to a good finish.
Thank you, guys. You guys, good luck up there, and I hope we put on a good show for y'all.
That is Carl Pooler, 4 races in now with Maverick, looking to make it 5 here tonight. And good that we got to talk to him, I feel like. I know that's always gonna weigh on a driver, having that kind of thing go on in personal life. That is a big deal. I know, you know, on the outside, maybe you question why a driver would put their dog and paw prints on their car, but hey, that dog meant a lot to the Pooler family. It means a lot to them, and I think it's a good way to pay homage to an 11-year-old dog. Clearly, that Pooler family gave Hades a really good life. That is quite impressive. I know a lot of animals don't make it that long, so they can count their stars that way. But Zach, we move on down the line. We've got to bring up power rankings. I know it's from a low point to try to go back up to a high, but let's take a look at the power rankings here this evening as we await our third driver of the night. And I'll tell you, he's one of these 10, and we've already talked to one of them, so there's 9 drivers on this list that it could be. There are some really interesting moves happening here. Dustin and Brendan are on top of one another, literally a 1/10 of a point apart, Zach, and there's not a whole lot of separation among the rest of these guys. I mean, Johnny and Gray and Steven are kind of in their own class right now, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but then things really tighten up.
Yeah, it's really tight. Obviously, Brandvold, Scott, and Christian all are finally in the power rankings, I believe, for the first time this season. So it's going to be interesting to see. But look at all these numbers. All these numbers are now really, 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 really close to each other. I mean, between 1st and 10th is only 24 points. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these top 10, like we saw in the other night in Sara, it's going to be really interesting to see how all these numbers fluctuate and who's at the top at the end of this race tonight.
And these numbers, I think, are so low because the field is so diverse. We have drivers in and out of the top 10 constantly. I will say, for the most of the last 6-7 weeks of this series, and going back to last season, we are constantly talking about the Accelerate Racing drivers, and they are still here on this graphic with Gray and with Coulter. And if you go back to the points, I'm pretty sure all 4 are in chase contention right now, and no other team can say that, to have all 4 that deeply in chase contention, maybe even in the chase as it stands. So while they aren't necessarily knocking down wins, not even top 5s all the time, Accelerate Racing, I have to say, is maybe overall the best team, because they just don't have any basement driver. They're all on the top floor, maybe not the roof, but they're all on the top floor, maybe 2nd floor down, right, of the tower. Like, they are up there. That is something I noticed in making the points graphic and this graphic even. They are just present. They are just resilient. They are just sticking through. I think that's really, really interesting about those Accelerate Racing drivers. I am looking for our 3rd and final driver of the evening. It looks like he might not be present yet, so it might be a game time decision to talk to him, Zach, but that's okay. We can go into talking about the schedule for this season, and it's relevant to that driver. I will say we're waiting on Scott Fritz. All right, he is another driver on this list all of a sudden. He's now 9th in the power rankings. He jumps into the power rankings for the first time this week, and he has been winning stages. He has been up front a lot recently. This is the schedule. Let's get that out of the way. This is the schedule for this season. Race number 5, Charlotte. This could be a couple of different things for a lot of different drivers. It could be either a chance to really get up front, or maybe something that holds them back a little bit. We'll see how it ends up falling for these guys, but this is, as I've been saying, kind of the first real intermediate of the season, first real big speedway, I'd say, that's more akin to a Chicagoland or a California, a Las Vegas, a Kentucky, even a Pocono, or any of those. This is the first bigger speedway. I know we had Nashville technically at 1 1/3 miles, but that drives like a short track. Charlotte does not.
Yeah. Scott has been doing a phenomenal job. He won the stage at Richmond 2 weeks ago, but ever since like the middle of last season, it felt like he flipped a switch, and I'm gonna say it now, he's a dark horse for this title, and it's simple, plain as that. Scott Fritz is a title contender. He may not have the wins, but he is a title contender, and that's end of story. He will be in the title fight when we get down to Miami down in March.
Now, I will say, Scott did have a big life change recently. I'll let him announce it if he decides. I know, everybody has their personal feelings and whatnot, but he did have a big life change recently, so he's going through a big adjustment really quick. It's a good life change, just a big one for sure for Scott, so he might end up missing the interview tonight. We'll try and talk to him if we get the chance. He is loading into the session, it looks like, so we should be able to get him right before qualifying, but we'll keep an eye out for Scott Fritz for our MX Wraps pre-race show. But you know what, we can go on down the line here, Zach. We've got a run of show and everything. We can go to the next bullet point. that is going to be the MX Wraps Best of Show. You and I looked at some paint schemes an hour ago, it feels like, and started to pick out a couple as drivers were filing in. A bunch more have filed in. We are sitting at 38 cars right now. Who are we feeling for Best in Show?
We haven't talked about him yet, but he's making his return. I'm not dealing with the 77 to Gavin Rogers. That car is phenomenal. I love the blue. I love like the metallic blue coming off of the car. That is a phenomenal paint scheme. And obviously with our league sponsor, Sundance Pizza.
That is a really, really good one. I'm glad you picked it. It's one that I noticed right off the bat. That 77 screams in the best of ways. And it's got its little patriotic flair this evening, which a lot of cars do. It's got the U.S. Air Force logo on it. I really like what Gavin has brought to the table with this one. Let me get his name here. So yeah, I really like that pick. I will go on and grab my first pick of the evening. I want to show off a couple that I'm not going to pick. Honorable mentions, because I painted them. They are the 81 of Evan Patinko. I really like what we've done here with Evan's Steelmaster Ford for the evening. I know it's hard to see from the blimp right now, but there's a good look at it. Brownie points, if anybody out there listening, watching, can tell me what the inspiration was for this paint scheme, along with the one you're about to see in a second on the 22 car, as long as he isn't here. That's going to be Joshua Parent. These two paint schemes are kind of sister paint schemes. They have the same design, just different colors in different places, and they are modeled after a real NASCAR paint scheme. I'll let you guys try and figure out what paint scheme that is, but they are a couple of honorable mentions for me. The one I'm going to have to go with first, though, is actually going to be the 88 car, who's in a crash right now in turn 3. Tim Henderson, when he resets here, you'll see a beautiful kind of, I don't even know what to call it, digital camo. It's like a rally car almost. It's a really cool looking paint scheme.
Yeah, Tim Henderson's got a phenomenal paint scheme over there, but that hit was vicious. And if we're seeing vicious hits like that in practice, I can't wait to see what we're going to see tonight in the race.
We'll get Tim Henderson added on there. You want to pick? Let's hear it, Zach.
Oh, man. There's so many tough ones. You know what? He had that hurricane when we were in Richmond. He's been doing a phenomenal job. He had a rough week last week at Long Beach, but I'm going to go with the 83. That paint scheme is just it's so great. I really enjoy the paint scheme. Ethan did a great job designing his paint scheme for him this week, and that's a phenomenal car.
We'll talk more about Jourdain's paint scheme here in a little bit, but there's a look at it. It is modeled after a paint scheme run by Fraser, is it Williams? I think is the last name. Let me head back into my notes here, dive back in. It's buried. But he's very proud of this. It's modeled after the paint scheme of a pretty famous Jamaican rally driver, and I, for the life of me, can't find the last name. Zach? Help me out here.
Yeah, give me...
I think it's Fraser Williams.
I want to say it's that too, but...
Or Williamson, maybe? No.
He sent me it, but
Fraser McConnell. Found it.
there we go.
Fraser McConnell. A really cool rally car paint scheme. I know Jourdain just headed off the racetrack, but that's okay. The other paint scheme, before we talk to Scott really quick, that I wanted to put up this evening is going to be Richard Wolsifer's car. It is a really cool U.S. Navy paint scheme. He did serve in the U.S. Navy, as did Adam Buzzio, and I think as well our race controller, Rev. But it is a really cool homage to the U.S. Navy, and I gotta give it credit where credit's due. So I will put that on there. We've got U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Navy, some red, white, and blue, and some Jamaica relief in tonight's MX Wraps Best of Show contest. But let's not keep our third driver waiting too much longer. We have got Scott Fritz in the house. And this is a cool driver that I'm really happy we're getting to talk to this evening, because, Scott, I'll let you go on and talk about it if you'd like. A big life change recently, but also you are really cooking lately in this BRB Sundance Pro Series, winning stages, racing up front, just trying to close out those finishes. Some bad stuff happened at Nashville. You had a good run at Richmond, and then you were even strong last week on the street course at Long Beach. Where can we expect this 48 car to finish tonight?
Hopefully we up front in Victory Lane. This is probably one of my better tracks. this car's pretty free in dirty air actually, which is kind of weird. And it's you get back in dirty air, it frees it up, and almost makes it easier for me to drive at least. So hopefully we can. Qualifying is going to be big, so hopefully we can qualify up front and stay up front.
Scott, you're 34 laps away from tying with Brendan for 5th all-time at laps led here at these intermediate racetracks. Stage 1 is, I believe, 35 laps. What is there gonna be? We're gonna win the pole here and try to win the stage.
Yeah, we're gonna try. Me and Brendan kind of have almost a friendly rivalry going. We bicker a little bit, and then we'll be best friends the next day. So, see what we can do. We race really hard, but we've also raced fairly clean lately. So, just see what we can do tonight.
And I will say, I've been seeing the CFM logo towards the front a lot. It's on the side of your cars. But in pavement races lately, on short tracks, on big tracks, where I'm seeing you guys get better as an organization. But as far as it pertains to this BRB Sundance Pro Series, what's it like trying to make sure you've got Selby up to speed and trying to maybe recruit a third driver or a fourth driver for next season, trying to manage that team aspect?
Yeah, trying to get Selby to learn and slow himself down a little bit. Trying to sometimes do too much, or he gets in his head sometimes and gets flustered when someone maybe gets into him, and then he starts getting into other people. So just trying to get him to learn and slow him down a little bit. When he slows himself down and puts together laps, I mean, he can run right up there with the best of them. He's one of the best there is. So he just needs more laps, just like we do, just like I do, and everyone does. So yeah, hopefully we can maybe find some more people for next season. Maybe we can talk Yeager into coming back. He was really, really fast. He's fast in anything he gets in. So we'll see what we can do next season. Selby may or may not even run next season, and I may be by myself, and we might be going to a different team. I know I had 2 or 3 offers this past off season, so who knows? Not even thinking about that right now. So just thinking about this season, trying to win a championship.
Well, we got a second here. You're third in the standings. That's pretty big, I feel like, for you to be that high in the standings this early in the season. Things clearly meshing with this car. Is it the car? Is it the tracks? What's going on?
I think a lot of it's the car. It's almost easier for me to save tires with this thing. Car's a little freer. Especially it almost builds free at a lot of tracks. So it's almost playing more into my favor on the long run, just keeping the right rear and keeping the rear tires under it. Especially at like Richmond, Nashville, we were really good. So I think it's definitely a lot better than next gen car. Next gen car I'd had a lot of experience in, but it just doesn't suit me quite as well as this car. Honestly, I thought the Xfinity car even suits me even better than this car. It's a little less air dependent than this car is, but still, it's definitely a big advantage to me to run this car than the next gen car.
Well, hey, I won't say too much, but I know you're on Team No Sleep right now. Best of luck tonight. We're watching that 48 car. Hopefully you're up front.
Thank you, guys.
That's Scott Fritz. He is going for it this season. I really like what I've seen out of Scott, and I know he's been a polarizing figure in this series the last couple of seasons, but to see him this high in the standings, seriously, this is pretty cool. He's just an unconventional driver. He's different from the rest of these guys that he's around in the standings, so it is very cool to see him up in third. And as practice time expires here, Zach, this is just about time to say goodbye to you, but what do we think? Who are we feeling to win this thing when things are all said and done?
There's so many good options. I mean, you got Johnny Wood. He's led over 1,000 laps at these intermediate tracks. It's going to be a phenomenal thing when he is able to eclipse that 1,500 lap mark, which could happen tonight. Not that far off, but it's phenomenal with how this whole field is really, really tight. But if we're really going to have to go with somebody and we're going to have to trust it, man, might be a little bit of an underdog. I'm going to go with that 32. He's looked really strong in practice.
He is the driver we talked about this evening. We'll let you get to it. I know you've got some drivers to go talk to and whatnot on your side of things with Meatball Motorsports, and I'll bring in our other broadcast partner for the evening. So thank you, Zach King, and hello, Zach Murtis. Finally, good to get you back in the BRB booth, the Pit Stop TV booth in general, as we unload here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is going to be an interesting race, I feel like. Of course, We haven't looked at weather conditions yet. Let's do so now since qualifying is opening up. Track temp sitting at 73, partly cloudy skies, but you can see that humidity is cranked. It is foggy out there. We're in for maybe a spooky kind of night here.
Spooky season has passed, my good sir. By your determination, from what I've seen the last week, it's Christmas time already.
It's
not
tis
even
the season.
Thanksgiving.
Tis the season.
Oh, so you're one of the ones that believe that November 1st starts Christmas season. Well, now.
Maybe
Well,
November 2nd.
Okay. As we roll into qualifying, though, we see Mason Houseman top of the board. I think we're in for one heck of a race here at Charlotte. When we come to these mile and a half, Andrew, we always got to be mindful of these Maverick Motorsports drivers. They have been absolutely blistering in terms of mile and a half pace. Can't count out guys like Mason Houseman, Gavin Rogers. The next level guys love to turn it up when we come to mile and a halves like Charlotte. I know the Whiplash racing drivers, they put in some extensive practice as Joshua Parent is putting that to good use. He's top of the board right now, just over Adam Buzzio and Stephen Borbell. Magnus Anderson goes to the top. That's another Whiplash car. He's going to top the board right now. Johnny Wood Jr. goes to the top. Kyle Clank's moving up the board. What did I tell you? Maverick Motorsports, they're showing up. Next level's showing up. And we're starting to see some good, solid times right now as Parent goes third on the board again.
Buzzio across the line will not improve, but his teammate Stephen Borbell does. Borbell up to second. Nearly took a swipe there at Johnny Wood Jr. Magnus Anderson comes across. He stays fifth. Kyle Klink nearly top five. Cameron Carden into seventh. Mason Houseman top 10 in his oval return. Down the line, drivers who are just getting onto lap number 2 include Braxton Skinner and Matthew Selby. There's Selby. He's 15th. Skinner is 14th. Selby now jumps up to 11th. We still got a bunch of drivers to go through. 41 on the entry card this evening. It is a full field and then some here at Charlotte. We are going to have a special kind of night. There's Patinko getting his laps in. And let's see, what's it going to be? 19th so far for car 81.
You know, in true ARCA fashion, we are bringing out the big car counts for the nice big races that everybody likes to come to. You see the car count go up at tracks like Talladega, Daytona, Charlotte, Phoenix. In a regular ARCA season, those are the big name races that you want to come out to. You're going to get the most publicity. It's going to be on Flow, Fox Sports 1. You're going to get the big name broadcasting time. And then you come to tracks like Charlotte as well. Those are big name races. Those are ones that you really want to show up to. And I love seeing the car count. I love seeing these guys embracing these mile and a halves where these ARCA cars tend to shine, especially on the short tracks too. They shine a lot on these short tracks. So it's nice seeing drivers embracing a track that is, in my opinion, really well suited to this car.
Quickly do want to mention we have put a link out there as Tyler Bentley goes fastest here in qualifying. We've put a link out there in the YouTube chat for you to donate to the relief effort in Jamaica after Hurricane Melissa a couple of weeks ago. That did prevent our Jamaican driver Jordan White from racing that week, and he goes up to 6th on the qualifying board. A big lap out of our Fraser McConnell lookalike. Jordan, very passionate about this, wanted us to share the link. We'll happily do so. We want to support that relief effort in Jamaica after that disastrous Category 5 storm swept through the island nation just a couple of weeks ago today. It was a really scary day and scary situation for a lot of those folks down in Jamaica, so please do consider, if you are able, to donate to that cause. That link again in the YouTube chat. Please do consider it. There's Sam Dyer across the line. Rusty Rafferty, though, a new driver this evening. You did see Maple out there briefly, and there is Dustin Stallings. Hello, driver 00.
You want to talk about driver 00? How about you talk about Maverick Motorsports? All 3 of their 4 cars inside the top 10 right now. You've got Stallings, both the Maddox brothers as well, starting inside the top 10. And then if I'm not mistaken, where would be driver number 4? I think they're a little bit further down the running order.
You have a buzzer beater lap, by the way, from Gavin Rogers, who just went 6th at the very last second. Let's run down through your full, very, very full, it looked like 39 cars. We were misinformed. 39 car what's the word? Not graphic, grid. That's what I'm looking for. Jeez, it's been a day. Our lucky performance starting grid. Here we go. Dustin Stallings will lead us to the green flag this evening in Concord, North Carolina. This is going to be a wild, wild race. Tyler Bentley to his outside, a driver we've had our eyes on a little bit recently. Tyler's been really good lately. Johnny Wood Jr. won at Richmond. He starts third. Stephen Borba, looking for his first win of the season, starts fourth. Brendan Maddox will start from fifth. He won at Nashville. Gavin Rogers, looking for his first win to extend his record of most wins in the series. He will start from sixth. Starting seventh, Christian Barnes had 3 wins last season. Jordan White, his teammate, right alongside. Starting ninth, it'll be Zachary Maddox. Josh Parent, the only Whiplash racing car in the top 10.
Rolling outside the top 10, you'll find another Whiplash car. That's Magnus Anderson starting 11th, and Kyle Klenk to his outside in the 12th spot. Right behind them, 13th and 14th, you'll find Cameron Carden and Braxton Skinner making up the 7th row. And in the 8th row, right behind them, 15th and 16th on the grid, you'll find Sam Dyer and Scott Fritz. They round out your first half of the field-ish. Adam Buzzio and Jamie Plord being that half, 17th and 18th. And then 19th and 20th on the grid. In row number 10, you'll find Mason Houseman in the Project 69 car with Matthew Selby starting to his outside.
Starting 21st, inside of row number 11, it is Spencer Chisnall making his return to the series. Gray Walker grids up 22nd, one of his deepest starts all season. Richard Wolsifer starts from the 23rd spot on the outside of the chase, looking in now with Tim Henderson well on the inside of the chase. He starts 24th deep in the field. Anthony DeSeo, Cody Dorsey back in row 13. How about Coulter Clark and Dan Stoccaro? We talked to Dan earlier. He's 28th on the grid. Back in row 15, we talked to Carl. He starts 29th. Evan Patinko grids up 30th.
Rolling into the last few rows, you've got Cole Lewis in the 52 starting 31st with William Maple to his outside in the 32nd position. Caden Perkins, one driver we've seen have a lot of speed recently, in the 33rd position. He's looking to improve with Rusty Rafferty starting to his outside in the 34th position. Zachary Hall, new to the series, he starts 35th in that 32 car with Waylon Nelson starting in the 36th position. 37th on the grid, you'll find Robert Moyer Jr. He looks to rebound from an abysmal qualifying effort with Dakota Bly starting 38th, and then rounding out your 39 car grid is Jason Bottoms starting tail end shotgun on the field in 39th. Andrew, it's going to be a long race. I'm sure the race details will show us just what these guys are going to be going through. 165 laps, 247.5 miles with a 2-hour time limit on this race. We've got one sprint stage of 50 laps to take us to the end. It's a 115 lap stage to get us to lap 165. 70% fuel, 4 change sets in the pits with 1 on the car right now, so 5 total. It's fixed setups with 3 green-white checkered attempts, so you've got 3 attempts at overtime, no more, no less, well, maybe less, with no fast fix available. Andrew, you and I have history at this track. We love it when these guys come here, and we're ready to turn them loose.
That we are. We'll turn the music down. We'll turn the engines up here. A Veterans Day special. The MX Wraps 250 from Charlotte Motor Speedway about to get started. Here we go. Out of turn number 4, down off the banking here. Charlotte Motor Speedway, America's home for racing. Lights up, green flag, and the MX Wraps 250 at Charlotte. Onto the back straightaway, Dustin Stallings has control of the field. Johnny Wood Jr. looks down low. Tyler Bentley looks up high. Here we go. Back into turns 3 and 4 to wrap up lap number 1.
Big wiggle up on the top side as bumpers were locking up there for a time being, but look at the gaggle of cars coming off of turn number 4. We've completed lap number 1. Stallings is clearing away out in front. Bentley and Wood still going at it for the second spot. Maddox and Borbell side by side as well, and then it's side by side slingshotting throughout the field.
This is our first real good look at proper speedway racing with this new car. We haven't really done it yet. We had the Super Speedway race at Daytona, sure, but then it was straight to Nashville. Then it was to a short track at Richmond. Then the road course at Long Beach. Here we are finally at Charlotte. Now we see these guys stretch their legs once again and go pack racing a little bit here on an intermediate. Gavin Rogers outside here on lap 3, working the outside lane on the outside now of Tyler Bentley. 1 car slow, that's Waylon Nelson. He had a penalty to go to the rear of the field as Jordan White gets out of shape. He hangs on, but costs 1 car. That was his teammate, Christian Barnes.
3 wide. Right behind him because of the stack up, Josh Parent in the middle, Mason Houseman ripping that Project 69 car on the outside, the red, white, and blue representing as Parent is going to try to clear. I know Josh was very adamant about using that high line, saw him running it in practice. I'm not sure he's going to like the middle. Barnes down low on that inside in the 27 car, and a little bit of contact. Houseman's in the wall.
I don't know that there was contact. It might have been net code between them, but yeah, Mason got the wall really hard there out of turn number 2. Things are starting to spread out through the top 10. Dustin Stallings leading. Here they go off of turn number 4 and down to the stripe to wrap this lap up. Oh my goodness, what a field.
Lots of battles still going on throughout this entire field, Andrew. There's not too much that we can completely focus on at one point. Farthest battle up on the racetrack right now, Brendan Maddox is working on top of the spin.
That's
straightaway.
That's Josh Parent. No caution yet. Mason Houseman dropping down the order potentially, and Josh is done. That's it. That's the bracket. That's the bracket for him. So already we're seeing the bracket come into play. I forget who he was up against. I'll look here in a second, but Josh Parent was really confident about tonight. He's already out of it. This is about a lap prior, racing with Matthew Selby. That's the 46 car, the yellow car on the inside. Mason Houseman, the red, white, and blue car with the blue field of stars leading the way. You see Magnus Anderson on the right side of your frame. Zach Maddox and Christian Barnes ahead. Mason blinked there into turn 1. Don't tell me that was part of it. Oh. What say you, Zach?
Not much to say. His caution is out on the field at the moment.
Yeah, caution. Several cars slowing. Tim Henderson, Spencer Chisnall, a couple of them. There is the look at the replay of Parent's incident. Let's get to a replay now with, let's try to find what just happened. Tim Henderson, one of the cars involved, he's going for our Best in Show contest. Little does he know. And we have caution number 1. So while we were trying to check out what happened to Josh Parent, something happens here with Spencer Chisnall and Tim Henderson. You see they nearly made contact there in turn 3. Chisnall up the racetrack, came back down, and Henderson big into the wall. That takes out Gray Walker and Coulter Clark. That's 2 really big accelerate drivers that might be having their brackets busted as well. And Henderson, well, that's a big one too.
I saw one car spinning right there. What's that? Stuck on the front straightaway.
I think the 18 or the 54, one of the 2. They took big hits. You see they were side by side here out of turn 4. They get kind of hooked into this. Oh my gosh, that's a massive hit for Coulter. Gray Walker, he'll be done. I do hope these guys that are, out early with this wheel damage get back in the race later on, but it's going to be hard to convince them to do so. This is frustrating when you're not even lap 10 and you've got wheel damage like this. Here's Coulter Clark's look. Oh my gosh. Cody Dorsey came to a slow. I don't think he was involved. I think he stopped to miss it. Let's see his perspective. He was a couple rows back. Oh, he did get involved. He got hit from behind.
A big impact for a lot of these guys.
So some big hits across the board. We're not even 10 laps deep here in this 250-mile race. Gavin Rogers takes over the race lead. He took it away from Dustin Stallings there while we were in replay. And hey, this bracket brawl is a big deal to these guys. I'm going to go through some brackets that are already going to be busted. Jason Bottoms, and this is going to bust my bracket because I 100% advanced my, our drivers, Josh Parent, for example, ahead. Josh is done. He's said too much damage. He's out of the race. So that's going to eliminate him. It looks like Gray Walker, same story there. But if you look at the brackets, again, we don't have the graphic for this, but I posted the link in the YouTube chat. So let's kind of walk down who's already going to be moving on potentially. Jason Bottoms is now guaranteed, I think, at this point to move on past Josh Parent. So that's going to be big for him. He will then be up against the winner of the Brendan Maddox and Dan Stoccaro matchup. Then you have to look at, let's see, who else is out? Gray Walker. Gray was against Cody Dorsey. So Redacted Motorsports picking up another one there. Cody Dorsey should advance over Gray Walker, and that'll put Cody up against the winner of the Johnny Wood Jr. and Cameron Carden matchup. So that's a big deal there. And who else was involved? Coulter Clark, he took a big hit. Coulter's going to try to... That's not going to race.
Yeah, I don't know how well that's going to go. He's going to go into the corner, dirt tracking it at that rate.
And Coulter is up against the 27 of Christian Barnes. So I'd say it's likely that Christian advances. Not guaranteed yet, since Coulter's going to try to continue. But if Christian does advance, he would face the winner of the Caden Perkins and Anthony Teseo battle. So already, as far as the bracket and the extra cash, I mean, this is really changing the way things look, and we're 11 laps in.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the bracket brawl replaced the bonus brawl from last season. Bit of a different switch up. Same deal, different type of execution with how they're trying to make it work.
Yes, this does take the place of the kind of Winston Million kind of thing, or not Winston Million, but Winston No Bull. That's what it was, the No Bull contest from years past in the NASCAR Cup Series. This kind of takes that place and kind of mirrors what the NASCAR Cup Series did this past year during those summer races on TNT.
Minus the big truck with all the money driving around the racetrack at the end.
Yeah, you know, it's not $1 million, but it is a little bit of cash for these drivers, whoever does win it. Here we go, back to the restart zone to get this race restarted. Gavin Rogers now in control in his triumphant return to the BRB Sundance Pro Series. The Sundance Ford Mustang out front at Charlotte. Couple of cars in the wall. Coulter Clark, hey, he's making laps. He's still on the racetrack. He's not out of it yet. He is sticking through it as long as he can as Rogers runs the outside there through 3 and 4. Here we go. 1 lap complete off the restart.
Yeah, you can see Coulter Clark there in the back just absolutely ripping around the racetrack. Rogers clear out in front. Stallings down to the bottom of Johnny Wood Jr. to try and see if he can take that second spot away. Bottom line, very, very strong in 3 and 4 and in 1 and 2 realistically, but that outside line has been so good in terms of defensive driving, as you can see. Johnny Wood Jr. just barely getting clear of Dustin Stallings, but he's going to stick his nose in there, rough him up on the quarter panel, but Johnny Wood Jr. hangs on to that second spot. We got cars in the grass, 3 wide behind.
Cars all over the place, down into the grass or the turf anyway on the front stretch. Cars still spreading out 3 wide throughout the pack. They seem to have hung on through the front straightaway, front stretch anyway. There's Chisnall getting back up to speed on the apron. Eyes are turning up front to this battle, though, between Rogers and Wood. And remember, if I can get the words out, remember, there we go. This is a 50-lap stage. They will have to pit at least once for tires and fuel during the 50-lap run for Stage 1, and we only have the 1 stage here in Season 5. So, 1 shorter stage, the sprint stage as you called it, I think. So that changes things up. Here comes Johnny Wood Jr. on the outside.
Trying to make it work on that top line. Johnny Wood Jr. ripping it up top. Rogers hanging tough on the bottom. Side by side as they come across the line. The help going down to the bottom. You see Stallings and Maddox running with that 77 on the straightaways. Johnny Wood Jr. hanging tough on that top line, though. The way they tell you to be fast here at Charlotte, rip that paint. You run the paint down in 1 and 2, it absolutely picks up in grip down there on that bottom line. But 3 and 4, it's just so tight. These 1.5 mile tracks, when they started coming onto the NASCAR scene over the course of the early 2000s, the late 90s, a lot of people dubbed them cookie cutter tracks because they were literally all the same. But realistically, Andrew, they couldn't be more different, and Charlotte is one of those tracks that just encapsulates what a 1.5 mile track can be.
It's a little bit asymmetrical, end to end, if you would believe it. And we got a caution, Stephen Borbell and Mason Houseman. Here's Borbell, there's Robert Moyer. Oh boy. Lap 17. Mason Houseman involved in this. And that's going to be his day, more or less done. I dare say his car probably will not continue. Out of turn 2, Mason got up into the wall. Steven kind of came up just a slight bit, and they met in the middle. And Selby just ran smack into the left side, or the rear of that 2 car. I saw Magnus Anderson get a big piece. Robert Moyer couldn't go anywhere. Oh, boy.
Yeah, a lot of drivers who have a lot of speed. We're looking to contend for the win in this race. There's see Houseman on the outside of Zach Maddox. 3 wide move right here.
Oh, there was some net code. There was some net code. I noticed it briefly. Let's let it play through. You see Selby, Anderson, and some others there make contact. I just noticed a little bit of net code. I want to slow it down so you can see it. So let's see. Off the corner here. This is half speed. I'll slow it down in a second. Watch right when the 69 hits the wall. Watch the attitude of the 2 car. Wait for it. Right here, it jolts in a second. It jolts. That's why he comes up. It wasn't a steering thing for the 2. It jolted slightly. It's harder to see actually when it slowed down. But there was some net code, and this is going to open up the pit lane. This is right in the pit window for these guys to make it to the end of the stage. But let's see what happened down the rest of the straightaway here. You see the 4 cars going to come flying in a second. Let's watch him. That's that red, white, and blue and gold car. Oh boy, this takes out pretty much the rest of Josh Parent's team, Whiplash Racing. Although I think Magnus gets through, but I saw Cameron Carden get put in the wall pretty hard.
I would start up the nominations for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day, because that could have been much, much worse for Magnus Anderson.
Here's his teammate Cameron Carden right behind him. Hello, and that's Scott Fritz's teammate Matthew Selby in the wall really hard, that yellow car that went across. Carl Puller maybe gets a piece of that. You see one of the new drivers, William Maple Jr., the 21 car, a good friend of Adam Buzzio's, who was added to the series. And even Evan Batinko saw a big piece of wreckage ahead. This is his look. Oh. That's some damage there to the left front of that race car. It's our second big crash of the night. We've had 2 cautions now in pretty quick succession, which opens up the pit lane to these drivers, but not everybody has taken to the pit lane. Zach, this is how things look up front. Gavin Rogers ahead. He stays out. Kyle Clank stays out. Caden Perkins pitted under the last yellow, but he stays out this time, along with William Maple Jr. Waylon Nelson has stayed out, and Zachary Hall has stayed out. Zachary Hall, another new driver this week. Johnny Wood Jr., the first car to have pitted. He lines up next to Tim Henderson, the final car to stay out. And Johnny Wood went for what seems to be fuel only. The pit time for him, just 6.5 seconds.
I dig it. I dig the call right there, because you realistically don't have enough fuel to make it to the end of the stage anyway. You were going to have to pit at least a third of the way through or halfway through just to be able to make it to the end. I like the call. He's saving a set of tires by just hanging on to what he's got, and he's utilizing what he's already able to figure out with the car right now. He's put a heat cycle on these tires. He's put a couple heat cycles on these tires, letting them cool off, letting them reset, saving that extra set, keeping yourself in the fight.
So Johnny Wood comes in, gets service, but our race leader stays out. How is that going to change things here on this restart? Gavin Rogers leading us back to the green. 30 to go here in stage 1. Green flag is back out in the MX Wraps 250 at Charlotte. A lot of drivers in new places on this restart. William Maple, really new to the sim, really new to the series. He's up here in the 5th spot. Zach Hall, he was quick in practice. He's right alongside of him. I mean, this is a really crazy restart when you think about it.
Saw a big move down to the bottom for 2nd spot. Caden Perkins,
3 wide.
He started way in the back, Andrew. 3 wide up front, back to 2. Cars on the apron. Henderson hangs on to it. Fritz moving up through the field now as well. I mean, think about the amount of positions a lot of these drivers have gained. I think back to Caden Perkins once again. He started well below, what was it, 38th on the field, 37th, and he's up to 2nd.
This has been a really crazy way to get this race started. The only constants that I can draw from recent races to this race really would be Kyle Clank, Scott Fritz, maybe Henderson and Bentley. That's about it. And Johnny Wood, I suppose. He's up here. As you can see, people are all over the back straightaway. Up, down, all around, left, right, and center. Trying to find their lane right now. And this is just stage 1, Zach. We're not even 25 laps in. Are we going to have a crash again? Henderson down through the grass. Waylon Nelson all over. Tyler Bentley behind. Here comes Wolsifer and Zach Hall. Zach Hall goes to the outside of Kyle Clank, makes that pass for 2nd. Here comes Scott Fritz.
Hall is moving through the field. He started 35th. We've got a couple of drivers inside the top 10 that started outside the top 30. So we're seeing a lot of these guys starting to find their rhythm, find a rhythm to the madness, really, as we've had a couple of those cautions that have plagued the first stage. But now, starting to settle in, starting to find a rhythm, starting to get single file as we're 3 wide in the middle of the pack. Commentators curse at this point.
I don't know how these guys are doing it and staying alive. This is a feeding frenzy for the entire field right now. You've got to go up and get these spots while you can. These stage points mean so much in the context of the rest of the season, the rest of the regular season. Just trying to make it into the chase, let alone fighting for a championship. You've got to get these stage points right on the line right now for stage points here in stage 1. William Maple Jr., Tim Henderson, and Christian Barnes. The final car in currently is that 88 car. Barnes tried to change that, and he will.
Not clear just yet, though. Into turn number 3, Henderson puts the nose back out in front of that 27 car. There you see Zach Maddox and Tyler Bentley waiting in the wind, seeing if they can find a way into stage points. We're 3 wide. Oh, there's contact between the 21 and the 88. Maple hangs on to it. Henderson well clear into 8th. Excuse me, take the 9th position. Sorry about that. He's up in the 9th position now. But they're still fighting it out, Andrew. Still trying to find some breathing room. Barnes to the bottom.
Barnes goes low. Maple holding his own. This is sight unknown entirely for William Maple Jr. We have no clue what he's got behind him, what kind of experience he's got. Completely green to this 21 car. He's holding his own really well right now. I gotta say, this is decently impressive. We don't even have a team listed for him, but here we go. Challenge for the race lead as well. Side by side off of turn 2. Gavin Rogers, Zach Hall.
Little tap to the wall from Rogers, but he hangs on to it. Hall trying to find a way past that 77 car as we had one car slow on the apron.
That was Cameron Carden down there.
I figured that was Carden. It looked like it. But the fight's still focusing up front. See the run here that Hall's got going down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Do the opposite of the leader. Find some clean air on that nose. Get some downforce. And a big run, a big shot off of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway into 3. Let's see where Hall decides to go. He's patient. I'll give him that. He's being very patient on where he wants to take those runs. Hung behind the back bumper of that 77, and we're still single file onto the next lap. There he goes to the inside, though.
Zach Hall looking down low. Back to that onboard. You see he's got open racetrack now, and that 77 moves behind him. So change for the lead here on lap 30. Zach Hall, brand new to the series, added this week, leading here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This could be a big wrench in these drivers' plans the rest of the season. If 2 drivers out front aren't going to make the chase realistically, or aren't going to make the chase at all, in the case of Gavin Rogers, this is going to start to put the squeeze on everybody else like an orange. Here we go. Big battle for 3rd. Johnny Wood Jr. got the wall to turn 4. Checks everybody up behind him. Caution is out. Tyler Bentley this time.
big hit for the 12 car of Tyler Bentley into the inside wall. You can see that right front is not happy on that race car. So definitely some instances where he's looking at a hefty repair. 3 wide behind him going into turn number 3. That's DeSeo up top.
Watch
Jordan
the 91
White on the bottom.
Watch the 91 here. Waylon Nelson. He gets sorted to the outside. Dustin Stallings trying to go underneath in between. He and Brendan Maddox, and Nelson just came down.
Must not have known they were 3 wide there.
It's a driver that's on probation, I believe. I'd have to review the notes from race control, but from Nashville a few weeks ago, on probation, hasn't run the last few races, and that wasn't a great look because of the scoring pylon getting in the way, but...
You saw Zach Maddox get piled into as well during the checkup. Here you see Stallings coming into frame. He takes a look to the middle. The door gets closed and opens back up. Saw Bentley had 2 tires in the grass down there as well. It's such a hard call from a race control perspective. You could say the 91 came down. You could say that the 00 just happened to hook him.
Here's a look for Zach Maddox. He gets hit by Anthony DeSeo. That puts him down into Carl Puller. They get by okay, but definitely a couple of hits there for those drivers. They continue on, I think, just fine, but here we go. Some more pit stops potentially under this caution. It looks like Gavin Rogers has come in. Yes, he has. So Rogers is in, Clank is in. You see Cameron Carden with no front bumper. He's in the pit lane as well. William Maple also comes in for his first stop with the BRB Sundance Pro Series. So everybody has now hit the pit lane. And a lot of drivers are in for some extra service, taking some repairs. I know Magnus Anderson will be one of those. But he is not alone. There goes Cameron Carden now back on the racetrack. He is now 8 laps down. Matthew Selby taking repairs. He is 36th, 15 laps down. Cody Dorsey has dropped to 7 laps down. Spencer Chisnall took some repairs. He's a lap down. And Robert Moyer Jr. is in the pit lane taking repairs. We saw him in one of those incidents a little while ago. Waylon Nelson will get back out there. And I saw Rusty Rafferty tow briefly, but he's back in the car, it seems. Another one of the new drivers here this evening.
See one more driver hopping out of the pit lane there. As the field runs single file, Zach Hall, new to the series, fresh off the wait list, because they've got so many drivers that have wanted to run this league that they had to start a wait list going into this season. Drivers dropping out or drivers no-showing for the events moves drivers up on that wait list, allows them to run into these races. Usually they're only allowed to compete in the practice races on Monday nights or throughout regular season practice throughout the course of the week. Official races, though, official points races, they've got to wait on that wait list, and Zach Hall was the next one up, next one in, and he is definitely showing why he wants to be here, how good he can run, putting that number 32 car out in front with just over 15 to go. It'll be 16 to go in the stage when we take the green flag. He's got Johnny Wood Jr., one of the best in the league. 2 is outside. Caden Perkins right behind. One driver that has also moved up, started 33rd. He's up to 3rd. And then he's got Scott Fritz on his outside in that 4th position.
Big thank you goes out to all the partners here with the series. Sundance Pizza, Sundance Trucks, Ideal Lease, KC Athletics, RevSimShop.com, Performance Food Group, Whiplash SimCams, and CC's Business. And how about MX Wraps, the presenting partner of tonight's race. A big shout out as well to our partners here at the channel, Whiplash SimCams, ATBO, CC's Business, Cody, Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. About 15 laps to go in the first stage here at Charlotte. And the vote is still live for the MX Wraps Best in Show contest. You can still make your selection for cars nominated here today. Here we go. Green flag, stage 1 still underway. Lap 35 now underway, 16 to go. A big mix of tire strategies now through the entire field. We're going to keep watching who makes it into the top 10 to earn stage points here tonight. But up front, who can win this stage as Christian Barnes runs the outside wall there in 3 and 4. Johnny Wood Jr. are going to take a swing here at the lead. He pulls up behind Zach Hall.
Hall just has to hang on for 15 more laps to make it to the end of the stage. Then he can think about taking tires, getting on a good strategy, really seeing how it works out for him as Johnny Wood Jr. takes a look down the back straightaway, gets to the quarter panel, side drafts going into turn number 3. He's going to throw it down in there, but that 32 car hanging tough up on the top side, making it work. Johnny Wood Jr. trying to lead the lap. He's not going to get to the line. Just about 0.04 of a second separating those two cars at the start-finish line. Scott Fritz waiting in the wind, seeing where he wants to go to find a way forward. And look at Tim Henderson really muscling on by Caden Perkins as a change for the lead again.
Beautiful shot of the crossover there from Zach Hall back down to the inside of Johnny Wood, who now squeezes him through 3 and 4. It's not quite enough to displace him for the lead, though. Hall's got the inside, Johnny with the run on the outside. If that had been for the stage, boy, what a run that would have been off the top side for that 75 car. But we've still got several laps to go, 13 in fact, as these guys are dueling for the race lead. And here comes Scott Fritz. We keep hyping this guy up. He has joined the fight.
If it was for the stage, it still is for the stage, Andrew. It may not be the green and white checkered flag, but they're racing like it is. Scott Fritz up on the outside line, trying to get around that 32 car, see what he can do.
They run for Fritz on the outside. Caden Perkins going to follow. That brings Adam Buzzio as well off the top side of the racetrack. He's trying to move forward. Here comes a run out of the 5 car. He's going to take it low, 3 wide. Underneath Perkins, underneath Hall, down to turn 3. Perkins, attic to basement. He sends it up underneath underneath Scott Fritz, rather. It is Caden Perkins making a send. Oh my gosh, these guys are very much alive and keeping us on our toes here tonight.
Keep me on your toes. I'm on the edge of my seat, man.
Perkins, Fritz, side by side. 11 to go here in the stage. You see most of the top 10 in behind. The 10th driver in line right now is that mostly white 27 car. He's now alongside the dark gray 00. Actually, Henderson now. Henderson installing the final 2 cars in. Barnes moves up. Gavin Rogers, the first car out. You know, Gavin Rogers is not here for points. Does he get aggressive with these guys, or does he let them ride it out for points?
Hey, if you're here to race just to race, you're here to win. You're not in it for a championship. The win is your championship, and he's going to take a big swing down to the inside on Henderson. Tosses that car into the corner. He's going to pull right up towards Dustin Stallings. Not going to get there. Not fully clear of that 88 car. Still fighting back on the top line. 10 to go. 9 to go in the stage.
Oh,
Cars in the wall.
That was just a big hit right there, knocking the wall down.
Look at him 3 wide. Buzzio still ripping it around the top. Lots of space here.
That's Brendan Maddox down low in the 23 car. Walter back up top in the 56. A lot of Navy representation here in this field. Oh, they squeeze again off the corner.
We got 2 Navy cars, 2 armed forces right behind them, and red, white, and blue surround them all. If this ain't America, I don't know what it is.
We've got like 3 or 4 Navy cars in this field. The 23, the 56, the 5 at the very least. 2 U.S. Air Force cars out there, the 00, the 77, I think the 69 would qualify as well. And these guys are all over. The battle for stage points right now comes down to the 27 again as they're 3 wide off the corner. Rogers in the wall, 3 wide of Perkins, Maddox, and Wolsifer. Oh my goodness, hello.
They just continue to roll 3 wide throughout these closing stage laps. Now shuffling out back to 2 wide as Maddox gets clear of the whole mess. But boy, oh boy, what a fight. That brought Evan Patinko into the mix for stage points. We thought we had written him off after getting damage in some of the earlier cautions. But here he is, fighting it out, trying to get some stage points. He taps the wall right there, hangs on to the 12th position, losing it now to Jordan White. They were 3 wide there as Carl Pooler moved in. But still in the mix, still in the fight. 6 laps to go. Gavin Rogers all the way up on top. You see him just barely right up in front of your screen, right in front of Tim Henderson. He's the last car in line for stage points. Now it's Barnes down on the bottom. So these cars all fighting to see if they can get just a few stage points. But Dinko has a way of squeezing in at the last second. Let's see what he can get here.
And remember, we got the bracket on top of this. White and Pooler, they are up against each other. They are their matchup. So they've got the same spoiler colors in their cars. Keep an eye out for that all night long. They're right on top of one another in this race, at least here in stage 1. A long ways to go still as Fritz goes down low. Buzzio passes him. Stallings and Wolves for a fight. But for the 10th spot, it is Henderson hanging on. Barnes just behind. A lot to be decided. Look at these two. Oh, Henderson!
Oh, freaking Henderson, hard in the wall!
That, I think, is going to end the stage if there's a caution. There it is. Henderson. Oh, how? Well.
I don't know what to say there.
88 is going to be done. And Tim Henderson will give way to Cole Lewis to advance then. Cole running in the 26th spot before this. Yeah, there's no way that 88 is going to continue. This, I believe, is going to end the stage, so let's tentatively give Johnny Wood the credit there. Stage 1 winner, we think. Please do, Zach, listen in to see if they call it. I think they're going to. Let's go back and see what the heck just happened to the 88 car to get him turned around. Racing here off of turn 2, it's he and Christian Barnes. That's the run into turn 3. You see him stacking up ahead. Barnes gets a run big time. And, oh, Anderson got the wall, and Barnes gets into him as a result of that. And yeah, not much Barnes could have done there, but there's some questioning. That's unfortunate for Tim. His car was at least going to be able to keep driving, you know?
And we do have confirmation, Andrew. This is going to be stage. On board with Waylon Nielsen. Oh,
that is
goodness.
Unacceptable.
Heavy impact there for the 91. I just don't understand how you couldn't see that.
Well, okay, I want to be careful with this. What I will say is I hate this for Tim because, you know, he's here, yes, he's been crashed, but his right front, I think, looks okay until then. I mean, after that, there's no question that car is done. I think he was okay. Yes, he had damage, but I think he was going to be able to continue at least until that hit. And that's... I just hate that for Tim. He's been a rising star here in the series lately, and, I mean, as of now, he's... that 88 car is well and out of it. But here's the race off the pit lane. By the way, the stage top 10, thank you to Zach King for helping us out here. Johnny Wood Jr., Zachary Hall, which is big for Zach Hall. Adam Buzzio, Scott Fritz, big points there for the third place driver. He outscores the two ahead of him. One of them was right behind him, Brendan Maddox in 5th. Richard Wolsifer in 6th. Caden Perkins, Dustin Stallings, Gavin Rogers, Christian Barnes, your top 10 that earn points there in the stage. Let's go ahead and bring in Richmond race winner Johnny Wood Jr. in just a second. Stand by here. And we will grab the driver of the 75. He's got both of his teammates in attendance here tonight. And I know Jamie Plord has been kind of part-time-ish. But Jamie is here tonight. Of course, Richard is here tonight. And Johnny will join us for a brief comment before we go back racing here in stage 2 now. Johnny, big stage win there here at Charlotte. That's a bunch of points added to your total. You're already a rising star in terms of the, I say rising star, you've been a star here in the series, but you're 3rd in power rankings. You're moving up in the standings. How much does this help you out?
Yeah, it helps me out. I missed last week. I was on vacation, so winning the stage. Hopefully we can, being that they cut out, what, 2 stages, winning 1 stage, and hopefully we can finish good in this race. catapult us up in the points from missing last week. So hopefully this carries a lot of momentum.
So this is going to be an interesting restart here. This is a couple of laps early than what people were expecting. Might affect how you guys play the rest of the stage. Are you willing to say what your game plan is?
I have no game plan, honestly, with what's going on right now. Me and Richard's kind of collaborating right now with everything, where the stage ended and all that. So kind of making one up as we go on this one. So
I know we're about to restart. We'll get you back to it. Best of luck, and thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on the stage.
yeah, thank you.
I'm trying to find the thing to move him. I can't. Zach, if you could drag him up, I'm struggling, but I might have just got it. Here we go. There we go. He's back up there. So here we go. Back to the restart zone, and then I'm going to fill you all in on a strategy option for these drivers as we go back green flag, lap 50, and we are back under caution. Oh, JD Plord! I'm not sure why we went back yellow like that. Zach, is race control saying anything?
Not from what I'm hearing. Race control is peculiarly silent at the moment. I feel like they're just analyzing the situation at the moment. Restart is under review, obviously.
Perhaps they intended to delay the green. I'm not sure, but that start and then stop catches out, and Jamie Plord runs at the back of Magnus Anderson. Then he gets down into the inside wall. Ultimately, I don't think it's a massive deal. It's going to be damage, certainly, for the 38 car. I think the 4 is going to be okay, but...
So...
Here's a look at it.
Race control
was the... Go ahead and explain.
Race control was the one who threw the yellow. That's why the yellow came back out so quickly. Race control threw the yellow flag. Not the iRacing officials. It was race control who did it. I think there might have just been some sort of confusion. We're just waiting on a quick word on that.
Watch the dash here. Just to the right of the dash screen, there's a yellow light that's going to blink. So here's Christian Barnes into the restart zone. Watch that light. It's blinking right there. I mean, as soon as they cross the line, it starts blinking. You know what, Zach? I think I know what it was. They run third-party programs, right? They run different admin programs in the background. That was the completion of lap 50. They had it scheduled, right, I bet, to throw a caution automatically at the end of lap 50. This was the end of it. Because the stage got called early, this was the end of lap 50. This puts us back into a caution cycle as soon as 50 registered. I think that's what that is. I think they had it scheduled.
Well, it looks like you hit the nail on the head on that one, because I'm getting some word from Race Control. They have a preset program.
Yep.
With a pre-programmed stage caution.
Yep.
For the lights to go off of. So the pre-program kicked in, automatically threw the caution flag, and that's what threw everything off, obviously. Now, you know, I'm gonna kind of speak a little bit on a personal opinion here, but when it comes to a caution coming out, obviously, yes, there is some added responsibility to race control when displaying the caution flag, but there's also some added responsibility to the drivers that when you see that yellow flag, that means slow down. That means give each other some space. If you're in a pack, these guys were just racing at Daytona not too long ago. They've raced at Talladega as well. When you're racing in a pack, it's still easy to slow down and not run into the back of someone when the caution comes out. You gotta just take it easy when you see that yellow flag come out.
I will say, it's really cool to have the program, to have the ability to have a scheduled caution, but that's one situation where I guess it comes back to bite you, because you know you're trying to be fair to everybody else with the sorry, you threw me off there. I'll let you go ahead, and then I have another point.
Well, I was gonna say, so you like the ability to have a timed caution ready and waiting to be thrown?
Well, yeah, for the stage. I mean, it's helpful to Rev, who's watching around the racetrack. He could get lost watching an incident back and miss the point of caution that's planned for the stage. But these guys were trying to say, hey, you know, we're going to run to or through that lap. They call the stage early. It's just, unfortunate timing. But, you know, I mentioned in Johnny's interview, it changes the strategy up for these guys, and then this cautions changes it even more, because from the planned beginning of stage 2, it's right on the edge already if you save gas to make this a 2-stop race as opposed to 3. These guys can go about 35 laps on fuel. It leaves them about, I think I figured it out, was 7 laps short based on kind of what we were expecting. So 7 laps or so of saving, or a quick yellow, or maybe even 2. This extra yellow is going to help them. It's still going to be a big stretch. The guys who just topped off, and there was a lot of them beginning with Jordan White, they're going to have an edge now. Green flag is back out, I think, for real this time. We're back racing in the MX Raps 250. Boy, howdy, we got ourselves a race for second. Scott Fritz, Zach Hall. And William Maple has stayed out the last couple of cautions. He's been out there for 22 laps on this tank. I think he's waiting for an alternate opportunity to pit. He's still out there. He's top 5 or close to it. He's 6th right now.
Side by side for that second spot. Tyler Hall, not Tyler Hall, Zach Hall.
Hey, it's a new name. It's hard to get used to.
Tyler Hall, I feel like I remember that from late model stock cars or somewhere from something else, but hanging tough on that outside line. Zach Hall ends up taking that second spot away. Side by side behind, though, that's William Maple Jr. and Brendan Maddox fighting it out for that 4th spot as 21 car goes quickest.
Oh, wow.
29-22, fastest lap of the race. That's a good one to have right there. And Andrew kind of floating it back a little bit. The whole reason I was asking that question, because if you didn't clarify that you were really into that for the stage caution, I would have said you're an avid supporter of the 2016 20-minute caution clock.
You know, I didn't hate it. I think there's a place for it. No, let me finish. I think there's a place for it, just not in NASCAR-style racing. I think there's a place for it in some kind of racing. Maybe endurance racing or something like that. And, Gavin Rogers! Dustin Stallings! The action on hand is ramping up once again. We're a little more strung out than we've been all night long. But everybody on different strategies, starting to plan the rest of this race out, working in reverse. There's a lot of different things going on right now. Some drivers moving forward, some drivers saving. Here comes Adam Buzzio. I saw Wolfsfer in the wall behind these guys. Maddox on the inside of Maple. That's just cool, by the way. We got a driver in the league now with the last name of Maple. That's awesome. I like that.
Maple syrup?
Yeah. Who doesn't love some good Vermont maple syrup? Maple on the outside here of Maddox. They squeeze Maple in the wall. Oh, hello. They split them. Contact. Hello. Buzzio. He goes low. And Clank will now go low. William Maple Jr. What a catch there to hang on. Ricocheting off the cars around him. He keeps moving forward. Got to get the league decals on that car, but that's okay. Up front, single file. The single file look when they dive into the corner reminds me of that World 600 we had for the Major Series, Zach. But these cars are so different from what we ran back in April for that event. This is a whole different kind of racing. Keeps you a lot more heads up. That car, that Gen 4 car, was hard to drive for those guys, but you could kind of relax a little bit on a long run, get spread out. These guys, there's no relaxing, clearly.
Yeah, that April event, the World 600 for the Majors Series, there was such a different breed of racing. That was before the revamped restructure of the body style of the Gen 4 stock cars. They had the 2006, 2007 body on those race cars. Now they've got the 2003, 2004 body, which, you know, similar chassis to what they got in these things. So I feel like they've got a similar repertoire when it comes to how they run, but the racing styles, mainly because of the body differences, are just so different. But they're so good. I love the racing that Charlotte produces. You got a lot of people that say Sometimes it's a tire that's the problem. Sometimes it's the car that's the problem. Sometimes it's a track that's the problem. But when you've got a good car, a good track, a good tire, a good combination of all three, oh, it just puts on a show, man. Just puts on a show.
Put on a show here this evening in these ARCA cars. My throat, by the way, last week Long Beach talked about it, still under the weather. Been under the weather now for like 8 days. It's going on, but my throat's hanging in for now. You can see these guys are starting to split up, and they had a practice race last night, but a lot of these drivers have been running practice races all week, getting ready for this style of racing with this style of car. And this is a little bit different from what we see across the board with other cars on these racetracks, Zach. We're starting to see little packs form.
Yeah, we've seen a big separation. You can see this front pack is all grouped together, the end of it being Clank, and then the next pack goes all the way back to Carl Pooler, Richard Wolsifer, Magnus Anderson. That gaggle of cars right back there, you can see them at a camera shot. That's the second pack. There's a third and a fourth pack forming. So everyone just really settling into their selective grooves at the moment. But the pace really ramping up with this first pack. This is really where all the fights are. You can see them fighting in the other packs, but this group of 8, they have been putting on, in my opinion, a clinic of seeing where the best lines are, where to run, and just how different these lines can be based on a driving style. You know, you've always been told growing up, a lot of these guys have grown up doing some form of racing, whether it's go-karting, Bandoleros, legend cars, mini stocks, street stocks, you name it, they've done it. Growing up, you were always told the set racing line to run, and as you get older, go through the racing ranks, you learn that there are different lines, different ways that you can take the lines, different abilities that you can use when running said lines, and you just find what works for you. You find what fits your driving style, and that's what these guys are doing. And it makes for so much better racing.
Want to step in as the battle gets going for the race lead again. Zach Hall, Johnny Wood Jr. What you were just watching was the battle for 9th. Carl Pooler, Magnus Anderson, Richard Wolfsford, Christian Barnes, and many more. But this battle now for the race lead outranks it. Zach Hall on the outside trying to take it away. Johnny Wood Jr. trying to hang on to it. Also, back to that MX Red Fest and Show contest. It has been decided, by the way. We did forget to end the poll at the stage because the stage came out early, and then everything went on with that phantom yellow, we'll call it. But we did just end the poll. Jordan White wins today's Best of Show contest. So shout out to him, his painter, and that paint scheme. A nod to Fraser McConnell, also supporting the Hurricane Melissa relief effort in Jamaica. But this battle is sensational, Zach. Zach Hall on the outside, taking the race lead away. And he's got everyone right behind him. Johnny Wood Jr. maybe a push here from Gavin Rogers as Scott Fritz goes around the outside. There's a lot of different guys here with a lot of different agendas right now. And here comes Gavin Rogers to shoot up the inside.
It's like a super speedway. Johnny Wood Jr. just got put into the sucker hole, and he went backwards very quick. Ends up into the 4th spot now. He's trying to hang on to it. Gets down to the bottom below Scott Fritz. Not going to be able to pull up fully alongside that 48 car, so we settle back into a single file run here. Fritz pokes the nose down to the bottom to try and see if maybe there's a move. There's a move, though. It's not from Fritz. It's from Rogers for the race lead. They stack up behind, though. Johnny Wood Jr. rolls on to the front bumper of Dustin Stallings after trying to find some air behind that 48 car. This is really starting to heat up as Rogers tries to take the lead going down into 1.
And these guys got to start thinking about pit strategy, because if they are not saving, if they can't stretch it out, they got to pit soon to try and split the gap on tires and fuel. It's going to come up very soon. If they cannot make it a 2-stop race, the 3-stop is going to come up, maybe not within the next, well, maybe 10 laps. Certainly within 10 laps, I'd say they all have to come back in if they can only do a 3-stop. If you can do 2-stop, we're talking more like 20 laps because of how much we ran under caution there. We'll see. I really don't know what these guys are going to do now because of the early caution and then the second caution right after it. I've got no clue. You see battles all over right now. We got this battle amongst the top 8, and now they're battling in for 2nd and then for 4th. Then you can see the stuff in the background as well, hopefully, way back there. I mean, it is... I wish we could do split screen. If we had 2 PCs, we would, because this is just insane.
I think the crazy thing to say on this, though, is that even with all this fighting, even with just how much these guys are slowing each other down with side drafting and battling, they're still pulling away. They are very much so pulling away from the rest of the pack. Barnes has moved up to be the leader of that second group. 3 seconds between Buzzio and Barnes.
Here they go. Johnny Wood down low. Dustin Stallings got to run on the outside. Fritz pushes him. And I think Fritz and Hall made contact. Maddox gets blocked. Hall shut that door. And this is just allowing Gavin Rogers to drive away. And that's 77. Maddox squeezes into Clink there. Buzzio down low on the 23 now as Stallings dispatches of the 48 of Fritz. And now it's Rogers and Stallings out front, a couple of former champions in this series.
Trying as hard as they can to utilize that outside line. It's been so powerful with defense. That inside line pulls it right back, though. It's almost like a balancing act between the two lines as Maddox jumps up to the top fully. Oh, he gets hooked! He's going around, head on into the wall, Brendan Maddox!
Points leader. And one of our top drivers, oh my goodness. No caution.
And no caution.
No caution at all, we're still green. No caution for the points leader. Wow.
I don't know what to say. That is gut-wrenching for Brendan Maddox.
iRacing giveth, iRacing taketh. Here's a look at it. Maddox on the outside, Wood down low. Maddox maybe hung off the wall a little bit. He was following the car ahead. I can't blame him. I don't think either of those guys did anything wrong. They just met in the middle.
That's a very similar incident to the one we saw on lap 5 between Matthew Selby and Joshua Parent. Just a meet in the middle type deal.
I mean, Maddox
Wood definitely came up quite a bit.
Maddox is in the tire tracks of Fritz, but he does come down a little bit as Wood comes up a little bit. They just meet in the middle, unfortunately. And I thought Johnny was getting clobbered here. Watch this. Evan Patinko and Steven Borbell racing, contact. Oh my gosh. I know what I'm giving the lucky break, lucky performance, lucky break of the day to. Watch this. Patinko's the car ahead. This is on board with Steven Borbell. He gets a run. And gets into Patinko. That's what happened. Patinko then came down trying to hang on to it. Wow!
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that'll do it. Let's get back to it. Back up front. Things are still crazy in a battle for the race lead. Stallings on the outside of Rogers. Here we go. Stallings going to wrestle the lead away. 3 wide for the race lead. Fritz through the middle.
Not going to get to the inside of Stallings. Still too wide. Stallings fully clear for the race lead. Rogers falls back into the clutches of Clank. Adam Buzzio trying to find his way through. And Zach Hall has fallen from the race lead to the end of this 6-car group. That is now 4 seconds over Magnus Anderson, Christian Barnes, and the rest of the field. But the top 10 starting to take further shape as we get ready to start rolling up on green flag pit stops, Andrew. That is going to be the big thing. And here you see Johnny Wood Jr. in the pit lane.
He's saying
getting his car serviced.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like he's going to be coming back out anytime soon.
This is damage repair for him. He might even be done for the night.
How about Brendan Maddox, though, still on the racetrack, trying to wait for that caution flag, seeing what he can do.
He is 26th, 19 seconds behind the leaders, and has a fair bit of damage to that 23 car. Seems like it might have been too much for the 75 to continue on with. Here's the top 6. Then that group behind him, look at this. Magnus Anderson, Evan Patinko, those are 2 teammates. Carl Poehler, Christian Barnes, Steven Borbell. This is down through 11th spot. Then it's a little ways back to Braxton Skinner, Rusty Rafferty. Zach Maddox is here, although Zach is lapped. He is 4 laps down. And Rafferty blinks there a little bit. So we're starting to spread out now. Hall and Clank, they get racing. Clank falls back to 6th. And again, we are at that point. We got to start thinking about pit stops, right? So if you work this race in reverse, okay, you can do 35 to a tank. So you want to make your last stop, you know, somewhere around 130, run 35 to the end. Maybe 131, but we'll say 130 for the sake of this demonstration. That means before that, you want to pit around lap 95. These drivers are 13 laps shy of that right now, and they've been on this tank of fuel for 34 laps. That math does not work out. So you don't want to run just one short run usually. You want to try and even it out, but we have seen, Zach, these guys are starting to get a little more aggressive with taking fuel only or even 2 tires. Is that the play tonight?
It full well could be. 2 tires is definitely a sound strategy, in my opinion, at Charlotte Motor Speedway. There's a lot of advantages to the 2 tires, especially when it comes to building a gap to the competitors behind. But I really feel like that's going to be a beneficial short call or short run call. I think over the course of the long run, 4 tires is going to be the way to go, especially if you're waiting on fuel. I wouldn't recommend taking 2 tires over the course of, say, a full fuel run. If we end up short pitting to the end, after a full fuel run, maybe we could do 2 tires just to kind of get that track position, see if you can hold them off, but I feel like 4 tires tonight is definitely going to be the way to go.
I do think as these guys lap Tyler Bentley and scrape the wall all the way by, you can't put yourself in a box too early. I think you've got to keep taking 4 tires for now. Just run it as long as you can. Take forward fuel for now in case there's cautions, right? Just make sure you have as much fuel and tires on your car as possible. Don't show your cards. Don't do the 2 tire move yet. I think you got to save that in your back pocket for the end of the race. But I think if this goes green, I think 100% 2 tires would be the way to go at the end.
Look at it from the perspective of where we're running right now. You have got this front 6 within about 1.5 seconds of each other. Then you've got about 5-6 seconds back from the race lead, Magnus Anderson and Evan Patinko, Stephen Borbell, and Christian Barnes. A 2-tire call for them would be fine. Get them back into the situation of being in contention. It would close that big gap that they have by cutting out 2 full tires. That would get them the track position they want. However, how long they hang on to it is another question, as we see Stephen Borbell to take his pit stop, be the first car to take his pit stop. Start the cycle. Starting to hear everyone calling it out now. 34 heading in this time.
Yeah,
52 heading in this time.
See, Johnny Wood is still in the pit lane just ahead here of the 2 car. Here's Scott Fritz hitting the pit lane. He brings in Kyle Klink. Also worth noting, in the bracket right now, you just saw Brendan Maddox go a lap down. We talked to Dan Stockero earlier. Could he take down the top dog? Could he take down the points leader? Right now, Dan Stockero is ahead of Brendan Maddox in the racetrack and would win that bracket if it came down to it, but there's a lot of race left to go. Fritz into the pit lane. Here comes Gavin Rogers.
Rogers easy in. Getting to his box. Looking through the field. No black flags at the moment. Everyone seems to be doing their job and doing it well to get down onto the pit lane. Carl Pooler gets in. That's a big swing right there for Pooler. I wonder if he was trying to go around someone there.
Rusty Rafferty exiting the pit lane. There is the 34 car. He's going to blend in. Here comes Stephen Borbell to pass him. So Borbell goes by. Rafferty's going to blend in just ahead of Cole Lewis. As leaders are in, Stallings, Hall, everybody else. Aside from Patinko and Barnes, they stay out along with Perkins, Skinner, Chisnall, and White. Some of these guys did pit on the last yellow when we had that phantom yellow, so they have a little more fuel in the tank to keep going a little bit longer. And they could, Zach, if they've saved, they're at least going to be a lot closer to 95. And now they have less laps they have to save the rest of the way. So we could see some drivers pull the 2-stop. Patinko was in.
I'm hearing a lot of call-outs. See Zach Maddox is in as well.
Chisnall.
In the wall. That's a hit right there for the 26 car, trying to get it slowed down into the pit lane. I think he'll make it in. No black flags still throughout the field for pit stop penalties. Drivers blending in. Hall on the back stretch, as well as Adam Buzzio, as we see Jordan White into the pit lane. Maddox up on the jack. You see Evan Patinko exiting right behind. There's Brendan Maddox in the pit lane. He might be staying there for an extended period of time, not up on the jack.
Here's Evan
As
Patinko.
Patinko.
Let's see where he blends back in as we've got Braxton Skinner and Caden Perkins hit the pit lane. There's Perkins. I haven't had a chance to talk about that paint scheme, but it is a special kind of Denny Hamlin Sponsifier car, and this is cool. I wish we had more time to talk about it, but just look into it. Denny Hamlin Sponsifier, it's hilarious, and do your own research there as Christian Barnes comes into the pit lane.
Yeah, Barnes still the race leader, and he is the last car to take to the pit lane. You see Gavin Rogers has taken over the second spot. Everyone's starting to unlap themselves as Barnes hits into his box right here behind Brendan Maddox.
Dakota Bly
There you
on
see Dakota
pit
Bly.
exit. I want to mention this paint scheme. I like shouting out new groups that are supporting sim racers. Goat Fuel, getting involved here in sim racing, partnering up, affiliating here with Dakota Bly and Redacted Motorsports. And I'm a Red Sox fan through and through. They didn't quite go the distance this year, but this is a really cool nod to the Goat Fuel Babe Ruth flavor. I forget what the exact flavor is, but it's the Babe Ruth flavor. And he, of course, was a Yankee. I think he might. Anyway, Babe Ruth, most famously for the Yankees, and that is a great paint scheme. It's not quite Veterans Day ish for the 8 car. It is Veterans Day today, obviously, but it's not quite a Veterans Day paint scheme. But I want to give that a moment because, again, I like shouting out those who are supporting sim racers. As here we go for the race lead, Gavin Rogers, Dustin Stallings, they cycle out. They pitted 1 lap apart, but they're racing on the racetrack as they go to lap Richard Wolsifer.
Side by side. Rogers laps Wolsifer, about to put another lap.
That's Teseo, the other car.
Yeah, that is Teseo. I was about to say, it looked like him. Teseo going down a lap on Gavin Rogers.
Brendan Maddox, by the way.
Going with him.
Brendan Maddox still in the pit lane. He has stayed in the pit lane. I think this is going to pull him out of the bracket, likely. Not for sure. I mean, he's 6 laps down right now, and we're to keep adding to that, it looks like. But Dan Stockera, we talked to him earlier. Could he take down the kind of Goliath in Brendan Maddox? I know Brendan isn't the reigning champion like Dustin Stallings is, but Brendan's the points leader, right? He's the top dog right now. He's the top seed in this bracket. This is big for Dan Stockera to potentially take down the top dog, as I keep calling him, Brendan Maddox. This would be huge. This would shake things up big time and probably bust every single bracket.
A year for bracket busters, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Gavin Rogers, Dustin Stallings, Zach Hall, here they are in the back straightaway. Anthony Teseo right behind. The next car for position is Adam Buzzio. He's back here just ahead of Scott Fritz. Then Kyle Klink back here in 6th. Carl Pooler in 7th is ahead of Magnus Anderson and Rusty Rafferty. Stephen Borbell 10th. Evan Patinko, by the way, cycled into the 12th spot. Now, one of the first cars to hit pit lane, as we documented, was the 2 of Borbell. He did come out ahead of Barnes and Patinko and some others. So it seems like that move may have paid off for him, but I don't think that he gained too many spots. I think he just separated himself from some others and got away from the guys behind him. I don't think he gained too many spots on the racetrack.
Hey, build the gap. Ain't nothing wrong with just building the gap.
22 cars on the lead lap. That might be about to change. William Maple in the crosshairs of Gavin Rogers. They'll put the 21 car lap down as Rafferty and Anderson swap spots. Try to keep an eye on everything happening in the top 10. These three starting to fight as we hit lap 100 and complete lap 100 here this time across the stripe.
65 laps to go at Charlotte. Not too much longer now. I think the big thing to take into account with this race specifically is a tad longer than a bit of the other races they do, mostly because they're emulating the Coca-Cola 600.
No, this one I'm gonna.
When you come to Charlotte,
I gotta step in. It's actually not. It's right in line with the other 1.5 mile races or 1.5 mile speedway races.
Distance-wise, honestly, it feels longer.
No, it's in fact, we can go ahead and bring up the standby. I'll find the graphic. Here it is. The schedule graphic: 165 at Chicago, 165 at Las Vegas, at Kentucky, at Atlanta. I mean, it's right in line. But this racetrack, I think, demands a lot out of the driver. I talked about it being a little bit asymmetrical. You can just see it a little bit here. And the way I first noticed it was actually, I looked at the pit lane. The pit lane does not run perfectly parallel to the rest of the front stretch or the back straightaway. Everything's just a little bit cattywampus. That's how it gets done in North Carolina, man. Everything here is a little bit off, I feel like. You get these big new developments, maybe those are perfectly, picture perfect planned, but everything here is a little bit out of order, just a little bit, its own flair, a little bit unique here in North Carolina, and this racetrack is no different.
Absolutely. I love the atmosphere of Charlotte. If you've ever been to the Coca-Cola 600, it's a phenomenal experience to go to. If you've ever been to the summer shootout, whether you're on one side of the fence or the other, it's a phenomenal experience. Being in the stands, being down in the garage at this racetrack, you always just walk into this facility and feel like you are a part of the NASCAR scene. And if that's something you want to be a part of, then this is the track to go to. It just encapsulates what Southern stock car racing is all about. Not to mention, Andrew, please correct me if I'm wrong, but North Carolina has the most racetracks out of any state in the United States.
Oh, that would take a big deep dive. I just want to say the pit window has certainly opened up to come in and make it one more stop from here. So if you were to pit again, it'd be one more stop after this. But I don't know exactly the number of racetracks as Dakota Bly goes a lap down. I don't know how North Carolina ranks. Certainly, it's going to be up there. It's going to have a large number. I mean, just to rattle some off, if we go...
Wake County Speedway, Hickory, Caraway, Bowman Gray, Charlotte, Rockingham, North Wilkesboro, Tri-County Speedway,
Ace,
County Line,
Orange County,
Ace, Orange County, that's 11, Carteret County, that's 12.
And these are just asphalt tracks.
Speedway, that's 13.
These are just asphalt tracks. Think about dirt. You got 311, I think.
County Line is a dirt track.
Oh, there you go. East Lincoln, Carolina Speedway, Millbridge.
Fayetteville, which is closing, unfortunately.
Millbridge is in that category. So there's a lot of racetracks in this state for sure. I don't know. Regardless, it is definitely the heart of NASCAR.
That's not even counting
NASCAR
the
racing.
road courses that we have. We have road courses too.
So yes, car racing, stock car racing specifically, very strong here in this state, as everybody knows. But up front, let's dive into this top three. All right, you've got Gavin Rogers leading the way. He's now got 45 laps led. He's the Season 1 champ. We didn't see much of the Gavin Rogers era of this league. We just know he's darn good. When he shows up, he's always in contention to win. Doesn't matter the racetrack, doesn't matter the car, clearly. And right behind him, the man who's kind of stepped into the new Dominator kind of complex, if you will, Dustin Stallings, won the championship last season in season number 4, won the first race here of season 5, trying to go for another and match that number that Mason Houseman has at 2 championships. Stallings has just been sensational these last couple of seasons. He's kind of risen from somebody that you expect to be around 10th spot, then 5th, then 3rd, then winning everything. He has just been so fun to watch. And Zach Hall, we got no clue about this guy. Brand new to the series, didn't know what to expect. Went up there, paced practice for a lot of the session. Didn't qualify too well, started 35th, Zach, but is up here racing 3rd, 11 laps led. I mean, when we get to driver of the day soon, he's one to think about.
We have a few drivers in mind for driver of the day.
By the way, Jordan White, out of the race currently, has had a hardware issue. So he is no longer accounted for on the racetrack. That's going to help Carl Pooler out as far as the bracket goes. We're going to have to take a deep dive in the results and kind of fill out who advances and who doesn't. These guys about a lap, Dan Stockero. Dan is going to advance, I think, over Brendan. Brendan, I think, is calling it a day. He's 14 laps down. He is back on the racetrack, so technically he's not out of it yet. But Dan then would have to go at least 15 laps down for Brendan to pass him. And by the way, behind these guys, decent battle shaping up for 5th. Kyle Clank, Scott Fritz. Clank, I believe, is driven by the 48 car. And I can't get enough of Scott Fritz lately. He's polarizing, has some run-ins sometimes with different drivers, but he has gotten so much better lately. Been up front, won a stage, I believe, at Richmond Raceway. He's got a win coming.
Can't disagree with you on that one. I feel like there are a lot of drivers realistically in contention tonight that could have a win coming. Zach Hall's been up here all night. Dustin Stallings has been doing good, but Dustin Stallings has a win. Fritz, Clank, Barnes, Anderson, Pooler, Patinko, I think all these guys are in good contention for a win. Come to think of it, Andrew, when was the last time we saw Carl Pooler in victory lane?
Never.
Huh?
Never. He's never won.
I thought he at least won a couple of times.
No, sir. He's one of those drivers that we keep talking about, looking for his first. And, we do a Who You Got post on Facebook each week. Today we selected Zach Brandvold and Kyle Clank. Clank is in the windshield here of Scott Fritz as Scott gets the wall here on the front straightaway. Clank is going after a first win still. Carl's in that category. Of course, Zach Brandvold, he's not here today, but is in that category looking for a first win. So many others would fit right in. Nigel Anderson, Carl Pooler, Evan Batinko. Let's see, who else? Braxton Skinner, he's up in the top 15. A bunch of drivers as Tyler Bentley gets out of shape. Still looking for that first W, and some that are out of the race now. Josh Parent. Let's see, Matthew Selby even. Tim Henderson. All guys who could contend for a win. Don't have one yet. Still looking, and they're going to keep looking, a lot of those guys. So as we work 50 laps to go, these drivers about 10 laps from pitting. They're going to want to extend that as long as they can. And there are some drivers who, when they pit this next time, Zach, will finally get a read on exactly whether or not they're trying to save a pit stop and go to the end after this next stop, or if they're going to have to stop one more time after that, like most of the field, I think, will.
These drivers realistically should have about 2 sets of tires left going into these final closing laps, and I would be amiss to say if these guys should take 2 tires in this final run. I think you're going to see a lot of guys thinking maybe take 2 tires, get a quick yellow, reset, take 4, get the track position. Maybe you'll see some guys say, well, it's just going to go long run. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm working on something here to compare, and we've been doing this a little more often. I think it gives a lot of good context to who's trending what direction. This is just the top 4 right now. Lap time, the last lap and their best lap on the racetrack. The last lap, Rogers a little slower than Stallings, but where are you going to go? You can only go so far without running into the back of the guy if you are in his tire tracks. Otherwise, you got to start to look for a different lane. So Dustin getting a little closer again. Zach Hall even faster, and Buzzio starting to make some time up on these guys. So Adam could get there if there's enough laps. I don't know if there's going to be. He's 3 seconds back of these drivers, but the top 3 at least on top of each other. Adam Buzzio not far off. Look at that, 30.1s across the board to your top 3.
Here's an interesting thing to consider. We've seen it talked about time and time again in most modern motorsports. Greatest to never do it, i.e. win a championship or win a race. Fun little statistic I think we could challenge our resident Zach King to think of. Greatest to never win, or greatest to never do it. Either to never win a championship or to never win a race so far in BRB Pro Series contention. And, I see a lot of guys inside this top 10 that if they nail their strategy right, we could be looking at a new race winner. As we're trying to see a repeat winner right now. Dustin Stallings goes by Gavin Rogers to take away that race lead down the back straightaway. A big move into turn number 3, gets clear easy, and we're single file once again. A
big change of the lead there. Stallings back ahead of Rogers. based on the last run, Rogers will come in a little bit earlier, a lap or two earlier than Dustin Stallings. I'm not sure how that's going to affect this battle, but worth noting is there's a great battle here with Magnus Anderson, Christian Barnes, we've not really seen just yet. Here they are. I want to go down the list of bracket matchups. I can't get this out of my brain. We know, we've gone over a few of the results to be already, but as we watch this on board here, oh, Barnes nearly gets into Anderson there. Let's go down the list. Maddox right now would lose to Stockero. Bottoms would beat Parent. I think Cameron Carden actually might beat Johnny Wood Jr. currently as these guys get to racing. That's just a taste of around the field. Let's see, Carden. Oh no, Carden's actually 2 spots behind Johnny Wood Jr., but it's 8 laps on the racetrack, so I think Johnny's safe there. Look at that, Anderson clears Barnes. At least you got some great racing to watch while I talk. Cody Dorsey should certainly pass up over Gray Walker. Kyle Clank over Sam Dyer right now. I think Moyer should go in over Selby as they run. Yes, Moyer 17th, Selby is out of the race. Anderson is trying to stay ahead of Dakota Bly. Bly is 19th, Anderson's here in 7th. Ford and Fritz. Fritz would have that one. Corbell and Johnson. Johnson did not show as they get side by side here. Batinko and Barnes. Contact there into turn 1. Oh boy. So I won't go through the full list right now because these guys are too good to watch, but that's a taste of who would move on. Batinko and Barnes just ran together. Does Barnes maybe pay it back?
Low car is going to be in the way right here. Tyler Bentley holding up Evan Batinko on the bottom, but still kind of playing to his advantage. The gap stretching out just a tad on the front straightaway.
Fritz is pitted. I told you these guys would want to try and split the difference a little bit. Fritz is in. He's taking right sides. Does he take lefts? Someone's turned around back there. Who is that? Is that Cole Lewis? Yes, it is. He is backwards. Here comes
wheel hopped it.
The 5 is in. Buzzio's in. Clank is in. Rafferty. Big names starting to hit the pit lane. And this is...
Now, Andrew, with the fuel number, you know, does this put these drivers within range in case we have a green-white checkered? Are they going to have enough fuel should something like that come to play?
It's close. Right now, they need to save about 4 laps. 3 to 4 laps. The number we were given was 35. These guys, they have about 38 to go. 39, 38, depending on when they've actually pitted. Rogers is in. So I think Fritz is probably going to be short. But some of these guys coming in now, if they are really disciplined to save, they might be able to do it. And who knows? Oh, whoa, into the pit lane, Stallings! Whoa!
And he's got major rear end damage.
This is big. Racing, I mean, he was in the lead. He just pitted from the lead and did all that.
This is not good for the 0-0. This is not what you want to see when your top title contenders like Brendan Maddox are pretty much out of this race.
This is going to shake things up for everyone.
Well,
he got hit.
Jason Bottoms.
Wow. And there's no caution for this either. That's 2 big incidents involving 2 big drivers in this series. 3 even, because of Johnny. Here's Jason Bottoms' look.
He had to have known that he was hitting there. And Bottoms with major damage to that 17 car. That's got to be his race done and over with. He's off the racing surface. No caution from race control. Hits the wall and parks it right on pit exit. Wow.
Craziness. Absolute craziness. Here's Stallings. He's still in the pit lane. I wonder, he probably got knocked in too fast. Yeah. I mean, that's 40 seconds over a normal pit stop. He 100% got a speeding penalty out of that. And has no rear bumper cover. Now, Christian Barnes, he's still on the racetrack. We were privately told this might be the number where he pits. Is that the case? Yes. This is good. For him, he's good to the end. Caden Perkins, same thing. Braxton Skinner, same boat. These guys, they can push. They don't have to save. They can try and run some drivers down. Was that too fast, though, for Braxton Skinner? Maybe.
Checking. No black flags at the moment.
Give it a
Everyone
second.
seems all clean and green.
It should have thrown him by now if he was going to, but it looks like Skinner might have just narrowly avoided it, but he has to correct it in his
He
box.
missed his box.
Here's Barnes, though. It's going to be a 4-tire stop for him, as you would expect. Perkins down and away. 4-tire stop for Perkins, it seems. Actually, Perkins may have done 2, but a full tank of fuel. That's a little quicker than you usually expect. Skinner, I think, did the same. I think that's 2 and full fuel. We're going to have to check. Usually a 4-tire stop is about 14. Here's Braxton. Do the lefts go up in this stop, or is it just rights only? That's rights. He's on the gas. No lefts. So yeah, that 12-second stop, it saves 2 seconds in the lane. It's just slightly faster, but they're on 2 instead of 4.
It's going to put a bit of a change on things. Definitely moving some drivers up the running order, though. We're seeing a lot of these guys starting to fall into play. I don't know, Andrew. It's still a toss-up. It's still a shake-up. Just over 30 laps to go. Rogers is still your race leader by over a second over Zach Hall. Buzzio 6 seconds back, along with Clank, who just passed him up, and then Fritz is actually going on by as well. Buzzio dropping down the running order. I think he lost a couple of spots right there. Yes, he did. Magnus Anderson, a further 7 seconds back. Excuse me. No, not 7 seconds.
About 8 seconds back of these guys.
About 9 seconds.
Yeah, 8, 9. So yeah, this is really strung out now.
6, 7?
13 cars. No, not quite. 13 cars on the lead lap. Rogers, Hall, Clank, Fritz, Buzzio, Anderson, Barnes, Patinko, Pooler, Borbell, your top 10. Then Dyer, Perkins, Skinner, Rafferty, Moyer, Blyan. Never mind, I passed up. Skinner was the last car on the lead lap as they run. Now, we mentioned those guys who were good extra laps. Skinner, one of them. The problem for him, he's down here in 13th spot. Perkins is only in 12th. So they're down the order. They're 22 seconds behind the leaders. For Barnes, he's 7th. He's at least closer, but he's 15 seconds behind the leaders. He's behind Magnus Anderson, who pitted 3 laps earlier. So, you know, yes, Barnes should be good to push, but this is an off-throttle kind of track anyways. These guys have to lift a good bit into the corners. How much is that truly going to matter? I think these leaders can pedal the car a little bit and can save. I think they're aware of the situation. I certainly would expect someone like Gavin Rogers to be on it for fuel. I wouldn't expect him to be running a lap short. He might be close, but I would expect him, if Gavin pitted there and didn't change something up, he's going for it. He is confident in some way. Zach Hall, Kyle Clank, they're question marks right now, but I would expect if Gavin is this committed, he should have enough. And he pitted earlier than Hall even. So we'll see. It's going to be close for a lot of these guys. I think Fritz might have pitted too early. Clank and Buzzio possibly as well, as Barnes and Anderson swap spots. And hey, that could be a driver that's saving. Let's see. Is Anderson saving at all? I don't think I heard the clutch that time.
I feel like he's
listen.
saving at all on that race car right now.
Let's listen here. Watch the RPMs. No saving, no clutch at least. And he pitted on 129, so I mean 1 lap prior. It's going to be right on the edge for him. Zach Hall has recently run up on Gavin Rogers. You know, Hall's got 2 laps more fuel than Rogers. Can Zach maybe pressure Gavin into saving a little less? I doubt it. I think Gavin's just a little too good. A Sundance pizza driver, I mean, he's a Season 1 champion for a reason. He's the guy that pretty much everybody here looks up to.
You know, we've only got about 25 laps to go, 24 this time by, but this race is far from over. We've still got so much left to run, and I think big headlines right there. Brendan Maddox and Dustin Stallings going further laps down.
Yep.
Stallings will go 3 laps down here. Maddox will go 15 laps down. So that'll put him on the same lap as Johnny Wood Jr. and Jason Bottoms. And Jason Bottoms is, respectively, out of the race.
Stallings actually is 2 laps down now. He's 19th. Stallings is now 19th, 2 laps down. He's on the same lap now as William Maple, Cole Lewis, Jamie Plord, Richard Walsifer, and Tyler Bentley. But he's behind guys like Dan Stockero, Anthony DeSeo, Dakota Bly, and some others. So a tough spot for Dustin to be in. Not the first time this season that he's had a rough race. It's showing with this car. I think the top of the field is a little more bulletproof than we thought, and there is certainly a lot of parity in this series. Now, we have a really good question actually in the YouTube chat, and we have a graphic for it. We come prepared now. Time remaining in the session. These guys have nearly 32 minutes. Right now, Zach, I would be inclined to say they're good on time. But it could get close if we get some cautions.
You better knock on some wood right now.
Sure, I'll do that.
Thank you.
So yeah, Cameron Gilmore, driver in this series, mostly in the Quantum Contender Series on Thursdays, but still runs on occasion here in the BRB Sundance Pro Series, part-time for Spirit Racing. Wondering about the time limit. So these guys have 31 minutes to go, so it's not perfectly to 11 o'clock. But it is really, really close. It's a 2-hour time limit from the start of the green flag, from the very start of the race. So, big lap traffic, though, here for the leaders. This is huge. Cars in the wall. Stockero goes on the lap down. There's Teseo slow. These guys threading the needle, starting to wonder about saving. And can we get a caution here? Naturally, from these guys. Borbell, Perkins, Skinner, Dyer. Whoa! Real close. Well, Zach, we're inside of 20 to go. I've been hesitant to do this. Really hesitant, because I don't know. I feel like if we do driver of the day, something's going to happen, but we've got to do it. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had you on one of these broadcasts. I think since Daytona, actually, since we've properly had you on. Well, we had you for half the race at Richmond. But it's that time. Driver of the day, who do you got?
It's so hard to pick right now just because there's a lot of great drivers that have been out there today. I think my number 1 pick right now, I'm going to have to say, honestly, I'm going to have to say Adam Buzzio. He has been pretty solid so far tonight. He's done a really great job to keep himself in contention. He's running in that 3rd spot right now. He's the next car in line should something happen between the leaders. I think he's a solid pick for driver of the day. Running by himself at the moment, he's been pretty solid. I think he's a good pick. For my 2nd pick, though, can't go without a doubt. Gotta be Zach Hall. Not because we share the same name, not because he's got the correct spelling on how to spell Zachary. A little bit of personal bias there. But he has been through a battle of attrition today. He started well outside of the usual running order, we'll say. He started 33rd, if I'm not mistaken. He has worked his way up to 2nd. He's led laps. He was as low as 35th. Okay, he started 35th, actually. Excuse me. Looking at the graphic at the bottom of the screen, he started 35th on the day. He has worked himself up through this field. This run has to be documented, Andrew. This has been a stellar run from this 32 car.
And it's his very first start. This is only the beginning for him. You know, we don't know where this is going to go. the rest of the season for this guy. I don't think he'll be able to amass enough points to make it into the chase. I don't know if he'll be eligible, but I mean, it's something you got to talk about. But if I got to start to pick some drivers, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab Scott Fritz. We're putting some pressure on him. We talked to him. He's had a big life change recently. He does have Christian Barnes right behind, as I think he might be starting to save some fuel possibly. But I'm going to go ahead and put Scott Fritz in this category for driver of the day. And I'm going to then sink down. I'll cheat a little bit. Here's the positions gained. Fritz is up 12. Buzzio's up 14. Patinko. Pooler. You know what? I feel like I would usually probably go for like a Pooler. Maybe. And by the way, I always say Rogers, I think, is the driver of the day easily, but we know he should be. So let's give a nod to somebody else who's really excelling, and I think it's going to be Evan Patinko today. Started 30th, and we just have not really known when he's going to pick up in this ARCA car. He's finally here. Look at this, in the top 10, 8th place with about 10 to go. Coming down to it. In a really good spot. He's put in the work. He's put in the time. He's learned in the car. I have to give him some recognition. I have to.
I can't disagree. Evan's been a driver that we've seen competing in multiple different divisions for a long time. We've seen him in the Icon Cup Series. We've seen him here in the BRB Series, and you know he's done a really good job of progressively improving, and it's a great thing to see.
Caution!
And a caution is out.
It's Stallings.
Oh, Brendan Maddox stuff in Stallings.
Oh my goodness!
They're still wrecking in one.
Stockero's in it.
Teseo's in it. Looks like Brendan Maddox is going to let race control know that he is going to take responsibility for that one. That is multiple cars, Andrew, out of this race. Teseo with a meatball flag.
What the heck? I mean, this is
a shakeup. That's what we're talking about.
Now, Maddox is 16 laps down. Stallings is 2. Maddox just gets in the wall. They're racing together. I think they're trying to work together. I mean, he hooked his teammate. Obviously, it's not intentional. It's just a lapse, but... Oh, boy.
Teseo.
Stockero. Wow, he missed it.
That's actually a really good job right there. If I had to take a nomination, that'd be a nomination for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day.
We need a coffee
Great
sponsor.
job missing him.
We need a coffee sponsor for a Code Brown, because that would be it.
I need a coffee sponsor to help with staying awake for late nights, late races.
Well, these final 10 laps are going to have the action to keep you up.
Going to overtime.
These final 10 laps are going to have the action to keep you up, I think. This is about to be an insane finish to what has been an insane race. From the fan cam, here we go. I mean, they're teammates. Obviously, it's not intentional. It's just, this is going to have some repercussions throughout the field, and I think that'll speak for itself.
Yeah, Race Control just deemed that there will be no penalty for either drivers. Looks like there was a bit of a netcode incident right there. It seemed more of a racing deal anyway.
Buzzio stays out.
Oh my.
Buzzio has stayed out. Rogers first off the pit lane. He's followed by Zach Hall. Then Stephen Borbell. No, it'll be Christian Barnes off in 4th. Scott Fritz in 5th.
Scott Fritz.
Magnus Anderson 6th. Borbell 7th. Clank 8th. Patinko 9th. Carl Pooler 10th. And you know, Zach, I said it. Didn't I? As soon as we did driver of the day, I knew something was going to happen.
Well,
I knew it. I had that feeling. I was waiting. As soon as we did it, a couple laps later. Wow.
Well, here's something funny. Adam Buzzio stayed out not because he wanted to, but because he had to.
No tires?
No tires. He apparently screwed up his strategy listen in on his race communications, screwed up his strategy, and he took tires on the lap 18 caution. He took tires too soon.
We've all been there. But honestly, I don't hate it. He's going to be at a disadvantage on the restart, but if he can get a decent enough launch, he might just have to pace the restarts. Like, we've seen it before, Zach.
He's picking the top.
Yeah, he'll get a decent enough launch. I think... I don't know what he should have done there, honestly. He's in a tight spot.
There's
regardless.
nothing he can do, realistically speaking. I mean, you are at the mercy of Adam Buzzio right now. He has pretty much made his bed. He has to lie in it at this point. If he gets a good launch, he may be able to hold these guys off for a couple of laps, but it's that top line that I feel like is really going to struggle if that 5 car does not get a good launch. Everyone's on fresh tires. Everyone in that top 10 has a very, very good chance of walking out of here with a race victory. This could turn on its head quickly.
Let's just add a little bit of stress to everybody's mind here quickly.
Oh boy.
20 minutes.
Oh boy.
22 minutes. I definitely think we should be good on time, but it's worth looking at. 22 minutes, time remaining. If we get a rash of cautions here, who knows? Back around to the restart zone. It'll be Adam Buzzio on old tires out in front of everybody else on a brand new set into the restart zone. 8 to go here in the MX Wraps 250 at Charlotte. Adam's trying to stay ahead, but here comes the mass of metal, and man, trying to pass him. Gavin Rogers to the inside, Zach Hall gonna follow it. It's gonna be a freight train. And engine number 5 might become the caboose. Whoa, crash!
On straight away! Caden Perkins into the wall hard. Front bumper just blew off of somebody rolling on by. I'm not sure who that was, but there was some big incidents back there.
Dan Stockero slowed.
Dan Stockero, Brendan Maddox.
Hey, he's not in the lead right now, Adam, but he's second. The caution came out. It's going to help him.
Oh, but for how long, Andrew? Inside line did not get rolling. Magnus Anderson didn't get rolling. There was some big separation on that restart.
Cameron Carden just came up. Wasn't clear.
Big hit.
This is behind the big crash, though. Or, well, this is kind of the secondary crash behind the initial crash with Caden Perkins. Let's see what happened with Perkins. He was racing with... Oh, boy. Please don't tell me it was Pooler or Patinko. It was Perkins and Dyer. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
That's a big hit for both of them.
That's a big hit. Front bumper flies off that 35 car.
And let's see, Perkins is up against... I'm looking for him. That might help to say it. Where's Teseo's out? Okay, Perkins should be safe. And then Sam Dyer. I don't recall if he's in the bracket. He is. He's against Kyle Clank. I think that puts the nail on the coffin for Sam Dyer.
I'm gonna say it's pretty well decided now at this point.
And back to the 25. Cameron Carden is against Johnny Wood Jr. Johnny's down in 28, 15 laps down. Johnny was right behind this. Cameron was trying to make up laps to get to him, and yeah, now it's certainly not going to happen. I don't think it was going to anyways, but man. Well, just a handful of laps to go. Let's review the schedule this season, because where do we go from here? We're out to North Wilkesboro, and that is going to be a very interesting race. The setup for this car is strange. It's a little bit different than what you might expect. it's going to be a bit of a driver challenge. I think it's going to be interesting to see how North Wilkesboro goes for these drivers. I think it's a cool car to bring to Wilkesboro, but it's a little different. I think Zach Murders might have stepped away there briefly, but you see here...
I'm sorry, Andrew. I was listening to race control there for a second. Overlays there for a moment were just a little confusing.
Well, we have Wilkesboro coming up, then Chicagoland, Pocono, and California that it's off for a Christmas and New Year's break. We come back at Las Vegas in the new year of 2026. So that's how the schedule looks. What's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV. Next up, we actually have some more short track racing, but we don't know where. We don't know where we're going on Thursday. The Sarah Pierce Fleet Service Super Series races on to race number 6, completing the first half of their season. And I believe their final race of 2025. They will also have their second half in 2026. Then Sunday, it's out to Suzuka Circuit with the Major Series and their season finale for 2025. Super Formulas. Going to be a lot of fun. Brand new car for us. A lot to learn with that car, with their overtake system. And there you see some old-fashioned North Carolina short track racing at North Wilkesboro Speedway on November 18th in just a week's time. For now, though, in the scope of tonight's race, I'd say anybody in the top 10 is still realistic because we just don't know what could happen. I would say if this does go green, Zach, I'd say top 4, maybe 5 or 6.
We're lining up just about how we were on the last restart. But now, Gavin Rogers is the control car rather than Adam Buzzio. So the top line had the advantage of the 5 being the control car. Now they're at the mercy.
Here we go. Restart zone coming up. And green flag is out. 3 laps to go at Charlotte. Who's going to win this Veterans Day special? Big block out of Anderson on Clank. Barnes up through the gears. He's in second. Highest he's been all night long. He's got Fritz behind. And Barnes down low.
Christian Barnes to the inside. The natural attempt to get it to the checkered flag is still underway. Cars scrambling, trying to find positions. Barnes out in front of Gavin Rogers. Here comes Scott Fritz. He takes a move down the inside. It's popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The crowd on their feet. We're on the edge of our seats trying to see who's going to try to take it away. It's the red, white, and blue out in front for Christian Barnes. It's their 3 wide for second. Who's going to try to take it away from the 27?
Diving to turn 3, Magnus Anderson flying through the field. He is nearly to the top 5. He goes to the inside of Adam Buzzio. One more time around Charlotte Motor Speedway. America's home for racing, lit up in all its glory. One more time around Anderson fastest, but Gavin Rogers, Christian Barnes, here we go for the win.
Inside is Gavin Rogers. They make a little bit of contact off of turn number 2. The outside line has been defensive all race long. Can Barnes make it work? A throw to the inside. Barnes throws it in hard. Fritz is coming up on the top side. Here we come to the checkered flag.
Into the wall. Gavin Rogers. Wow.
Gavin Rogers with the win.
Wow. They made him work for it. Couldn't just drive away. And this one in the sunset. Gavin Rogers, Christian Barnes, everybody else. What a finish here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Fireworks truly lighting up the night sky. Literally and figuratively lighting up the racetrack. I mean, that was a finish we need to get a replay of. Gavin Rogers burns it down as he so well deserves. Look at this. 88 laps led out of 165. It's fitting. The Sundance Pizza car has won in the first season, truly, of the BRB Sundance Pro Series.
you have to think what could have been for a number of these drivers, Andrew, coming to the checkered flag. I think we had 2, 3 cars sideways across the line.
We'll have to get a look back.
Turning itself around.
We'll have to get a look back at the finish replay of all of that, but there you see Gavin Rogers burning it down eccentrically around the racetrack, celebrating this win, as he should. As he should. Boy, the bracket. I'm sure Zach King will have an update for us soon. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun to look at here in a second. Again, we won't have a graphic. We'll walk you through it verbally as best as we can, but there's going to be a lot of upset in that category, and Gavin Rogers, man, plays upset for the win as well. So many drivers could have used that for their championship campaign here in Season 5. That is the second upset in a row, by the way. Mason Houseman showed up and dominated at Long Beach last week. It's Gavin Rogers here today. Let's take a look back. We've had a second to catch our breath. Let's take a look back at what the heck just happened coming to the stripe. It's going to take a second to get there. Here we go. This is a decent view. Out of turn 4. Barnes hit the wall. Fritz hit the wall. Hall went low. I mean, it's just craziness. Oh my gosh. Let's check out that final lap one more time.
Goodness.
This is to the white flag, I do believe. Man, Christian Barnes, what could have been for his first win here in this car. There's a funny little stat. His team owner, Zach King, part of our broadcast crew for the MX Raps pre-race show, last had Meatball Motorsports. Well, technically Meatball Motorsports has won since then, but at an intermediate track like this, last had them in victory lane at Atlanta a couple of seasons ago, but a year ago tomorrow. As that is another look at that massive, massive ending here at Charlotte. Let's slow it down here. Oh, this is wild. Slow it down.
Barnes throwing it in.
Look at Anderson.
Really completely upset it. Oh my goodness.
Anderson committed. I mean, all of these guys just, they left it all out there and they were going to hit the wall. I mean, it was checkers or wreckers for these guys coming to the stripe. I get it. Fritz sideways ends up hooking the 32 of Hall across the racetrack. Buzzio tried to go low, runs into Fritz. Anderson takes a big hit there off of Hall. That puts Buzzio, or Borbell rather, down into Patinko. Hall's still crashing. Pooler comes through. Boy. Insanity. One more time, let's take a look back and let's watch this from some of the static cameras. This flag stand shot is going to be pretty crazy in a second. Watch this. Checker flag. Wow.
Woo! Talk about a 3-wide finish for third. Zach Hall gets it for that third spot, sideways across the line. One car backwards off the nose of Adam Buzzio. Contact between Clank and Anderson ended up promoting Anderson to fourth at the end. And then it's nice and easy across the line, going through the backhand of the field. Oh my goodness. What a race at Charlotte Motor Speedway that we saw tonight, Andrew.
Let's take a look through our unofficial race results. I would definitely say it's unofficial tonight. Gavin Rogers gets the win. I think that will stand for sure. I think he was clean to the checkers there. Gavin Rogers wins over Christian Barnes. Zach Hall, brand new, shows up tonight and shows out. I mean, he is pushing the outrating threshold, and it shows. He was quick tonight. Magnus Anderson in fourth. Kyle Clank in fifth. Scott Fritz, Evan Patinko, top 10s there. I mean, there's a lot of really cool top 10s. I'd say those four. Anderson, Clank, Fritz, Patinko. And the two behind him as well, Buzzio and Borbell. Big days for those guys. Borbell stays up front. He might be... Fritz and Borbell could walk out of here the best finishers of the top handful in points. Braxton Skinner, also a big top 10 for that 33 car.
throughout the top 10. There were a lot of great finishers. 4th through 8th spread by almost a 10th there at the end. Carl Pooler ends up 11th with Rusty Rafferty ending up in the 12th position. A great run for that 34 car, starting deep in the field. Rafferty was able to get that car up there into that 12th spot and hang on to it, stay on the lead lap. Great run. Robert Moyer ends up 13th as well. Great run out of that 16 car. Dakota Bly, good run for him as well. Usually seeing him a little bit further down the running order. Nice to see him closer to the top 10. That is P14, first car 1 lap down for that 8 car. Sam Dyer ends up 2 laps down in the 15th position with Cole Lewis, Dan Stockcaro, Tyler Bentley right behind. That's going to be 16th on through 18th with Richard Wolsifer having an abysmal day, a quiet day. We don't really talk about Wolsifer too much after starting his descent down the running order, going down laps and ending up 3 laps down with Jamie Plord rounding out your top 20, 4 laps down at the end. That's only about half the field though, Andrew. They had quite the big car count tonight.
Down at 21st, it was car 21, William Maple Jr., newcomer to the series, 4 laps down. Hey, had some good runs. Had a good run going earlier in the day. Just things kind of got away from him there later on. Caden Perkins, 22nd. I know it's not the day he wanted, but he was in the conversation there for a little while. Of course, got tangled there on the front straightaway late in this race. Jordan White had the computer issues earlier, but reminds you to go back through the YouTube chat and check out that link to donate to the relief effort in Jamaica following Hurricane Melissa. Cody Dorsey, 24th place. He might have enough to advance in this bracket. We'll recap that in a second. Anthony Teseo, 25th. Dustin Stallings, 26th. Zachary Maddox, Johnny Wood Jr., Brendan Maddox, Jason Bottoms. A lot of heartbreak for a lot of these guys who had good runs going and met untimely ends along the way.
Further down, more untimely ends as Cameron Carden ends up 45 laps down. Spencer Chisnall ends up 20 in that 26-32nd, 74 laps down. He had a chance to advance in his bracket brawl, but not the availability to do so. Tim Henderson ends up 33rd with Waylon Nielsen Jr. Waylon Nielsen II ending up 34th. He ended up actually getting parked in the middle of the race. First parked of the season for a driver this year. And then Mason Houseman, one driver that we thought was going to be running up front in that Project 69 car. He ends up 35th on the day with Matthew Selby right behind him. 2 extra laps down, 149 down. Coulter Clark, Gray Walker, 2 bad days right there. And then they end up 37th and 38th. And rounding out the field, Joshua Parent out on lap 5 after an incident with Matthew Selby.
I want to come back to this page really quick. The front page of the results, because we nominated 4 drivers, as we do for Driver of the Day. Those being Zach Hall, who finished 3rd, Scott Fritz, who finished 6th, Evan Patinko, who finished 7th, and Adam Buzzy, who finished 8th. Those 4, you can still vote on them through the balance of the interviews that are about to begin, and we'll be talking to Zach Hall along with your top 2 finishers here this evening. Gavin Rogers led the charge for 88 laps this evening. More importantly, the charge across the start-finish line on lap 165. Gavin, it was a wild night up and down through stage 1, a lot of green flag racing in stage 2, and then everything broke loose. But what was it like in the driver's seat of the 77 car?
It was crazy, man. These cars are very different from the next one, I'll tell you that. The momentum is such a big thing here. The draft is huge, so it felt like you're in a pack the entire race. I know me, Dustin, and Zach broke away from a majority of the pack there in that big long green flag run. I think Dustin got hit from behind, unfortunately, in one of the pit stops. But man, if that went green, that would have been such a good battle between me and Zach. I think I didn't realize it until Zach mentioned it to me during the caution, but I was apparently about half a lap short, so I was actually probably not gonna make it. Like, I think I would have ran out in the middle of 3 and 4, coming or on the white flag, and you would have more than likely won it. But yeah, man, that finish was just insane. I kind of messed up my restart there. I was trying first gear because Adam said it worked for him on the last restart, so I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. And the car slowed down a ton when I went down the first, and I was trying to get back to normal speed. I got a decent launch, and then going into 1 and 2, I didn't really carry great momentum, and Christian just blew my doors off. And I was fortunately able to just kind of rip the white line and get some clean air a little bit and get to his inside on the white flag and just was able to hold my line there off of 3 and 4, and luckily held on to it after he kind of clipped me a little bit there. No harm, no foul. So yeah, just a great race, great win.
And of course, you're a former champion back in season 1. A lot of wins to your name. I think this is now number 16 or 17. Zach King would know, but this is a big win for you and I think your family. First win for the Sundance car in the Sundance Pro Series. How big is it for that reason?
Oh yeah, man, it's huge for sure. They've been such a long time supporter. They're a major sponsor for the league. They really helped us get up and running, and so I just want to give a huge shout out to them for all the support they've given us, and we try to repay the favor to them and produce some great races and give as many shout outs as we can. And we have a few people who come out. I know Zach Maddox actually flew out once, and I believe I might have another guy or two coming in from the league later on this month, so it'll be cool to meet some new guys. But yeah, man, they're just such a huge sponsor, and we're very grateful to have them.
I have no clue when I'll be back on that side of the country, but when I am, I'll be making a stop by at some point. It's now a storied piece of joint there in Arizona, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting there someday. But hey, Gavin, congratulations. 88 laps led. I think definitely the best driver here. Hey, and you get the win. When can you see it on the racetrack next?
You know, I don't know. Today was just kind of a last-second call. I'd have to look over the schedule again, but I'd like to do a few more races definitely before the playoffs start. And I know my buddy's Zach, who's another really fast guy to look out for. I don't know what his plan is, if he's going to be racing full-time or not, but I definitely look forward to racing with him and hopefully Mason again. And we'd have some, man, we could have some really great battles, I'll tell you what. But yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season, not just for myself, but just for the whole league. I think this car is really producing some good racing, and these guys seem to be adapting pretty quickly. So yeah, just really looking forward to it.
Good to talk to you, Gavin. It's been a little while. Congratulations, and hopefully we're talking to you again soon. Hopefully we at least see you one more time here in 2025.
All right, sounds good, brother.
Gavin Rogers, big win here at Charlotte. You see the partners there on the left side of the screen. Sundance Pizza, biggest one here this season, along with Attendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, KC Athletics, RevSimShop.com, Performance Food Group, Whiplash SimCam, CC's Business, and MXWraps.com. On down to second place, it'll be the one, the only Christian Barnes. We thought you were going to back up what your team owner was able to do a year ago tomorrow and go to victory lane on an intermediate in a Meatball Motorsports car. And of course, you got some wins to your name, so it wouldn't have been your first, but it would have been your first this season. One of the bigger ones, I think, to kick off a run. How much would it have meant, and how much will it now mean when you do finally break through for that Season 5 win? Oh, we had Christian Barnes. Let's bring you back in. I asked you a whole question there, but to summarize, how much will it mean when you do finally break through, considering you came up one spot short tonight?
Oh, it'll mean a lot. Just not the start of the season that I wanted, constant, a lot of DNFs. But every single race this season, I've gotten better finishes, like every single race. And I thought I had it on that final restart, but just made the wrong decision of going high. I should have stayed low. I just made the wrong choice, but just learning this car, getting better each and every week. So yeah, once it comes, that's just going to be a sigh of relief.
And of course, this is going to be huge for you in the standings, the power rankings, all that good stuff. To finish up front, I think you had some stage points as well. So, looking forward now to a short track next week, a difficult one at that. What's the game plan?
Definitely, it's going to be more of a tire saver than this race was. So, just need to stay out of trouble. I know there's a lot of pileups in this race. There's sometimes pileups on short tracks. So just need to just make it to the end and just be there. And I think I'll be all right.
Christian Barnes, second place tonight, and we talk about this being a team aspect, and you do have a couple of really cool teammates in Anthony DeSeo and Jordan White. Of course, they both come up short. Some issues for each of them tonight. What's the game plan to help them out next time that there's a chance to get all of you guys up front?
Yeah, Jordan's definitely really fast. I'd say he's at my speed, if not at certain tracks a little bit better. Just unfortunate technical issues keep getting him, and he's definitely gonna I think he'll win a race this season, honestly. He's just been that good. He just needs, the finishes. Similar to me, just haven't got the finishes. So once I guess he gets that, technical issue going, I think he'll be up there because I think he does more laps than almost anybody. He's just doing hundreds of laps every week. Teseo, he practices a lot as well. He also just, needs to get to the end of these races, and you can't really, get that practice if you're not finishing. So I think that's the main thing all of us got to work on, is just finishing these races.
Christian, congratulations. Second place for you. Very strong tonight. Cool to see you get some laps late as well. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Thank you very much.
That's Christian Barnes. A solid finish here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll move on down and get third place Zach Hall. And this will be the first time we talk to this driver in his very first start here in the series. Let's back up this replay to when that car was still nice and pretty. Zach, 12 laps out front. We didn't know what to expect. You just about paced practice. You start 35th, though. What was it like working through the field?
It was interesting. This is like the first race I've ever done in this car, so this has been kind of like a learning curve, and it was a decision to start out back really just to kind of see. And I've never raced any of these guys except for a few in other leagues, so I've kind of was just wanting to fill it out. And I watched the middle of the pack because I knew these cars were going to be wild with how the draft package and everything's just so stuck together. I felt like I teleported back to the 550 package in the Cup car, but I kind of noticed then, I was like, man, going through the middle of that field is going to be hectic. So luckily we pit on that first caution at lap 9 and had enough fuel to be able to stay out. And I was like, I know we're not going to use a set of tires till the stage, just with only having 4 sets. So I was like, you know what, we're going to stay out here. And once I got the track position, I kind of was just trying to figure out what I needed to do out front, led some laps, and man, I wish you would have stayed green, but not every race can. So,
and where does this take you from here? Of course, a few races short as far as the point standings go, so let's not worry about that. Let's look forward to what's coming up. North Wilkesboro next week, then a couple of intermediates to finish out the calendar year in the first half of this season. What's that look like for you as far as some strengths and weaknesses? What are you looking forward to?
Tonight was a great start for me because it was Charlotte. I really love this track, so that was a great start. Wilkesboro, probably actually my favorite short track on the service, just from just how, I don't know, just in the past I've really worked well with it. I think it's gonna be the new one anyway, so I gotta kind of learn a little bit there from 1985 version we have before. So we'll see how that goes. I expect to hopefully run good, and then the intermediates, it's kind of hit or miss. I think Chicago will be good for me, but the other ones we'll just have to see how they play out, because this car, you can make a difference as a driver for sure, but it's hard. You got to really stand out from everybody and really make bold, aggressive moves. And I think I'm a little bit more of a patient driver, so some of those intermediates I might get caught lacking a little bit sometimes. But hey, we'll try to put the best run we can together, and you never know, maybe we'll compile enough points. I don't know. I'm not really too worried about playoffs. If we get there, we get there, but there's a long way to go with missing the first 4 for sure.
Well, Crazy Ray, it's good to see you out front, and good to get to know your name. I think we're going to be talking a lot about this 32 car the rest of the season. Congratulations on a strong run up front. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Thank you guys very much, and shout out to my team there at Freak Fast Racing, and can't wait to see them next week.
That's Zachary Hall, third place finish here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And if we go back to these results, you'll start to see some of the guys who advance on through in their brackets. I'm just going to kind of verbally go through this quickly. I don't want to, take on too long. I know a lot of people are already signing off. It's getting kind of late at night, so we'll wrap this up quick. But to go through kind of who gets in, I'm leaving the results up for a second so you can kind of see how and why a little bit. But Brendan Maddox is eliminated. Dan Stockaro goes on. Dan actually finishes down in the 17th spot. Jason Bottoms will move on over Joshua Parent, who finishes dead last. Jason Bottoms finished 30th. Moving on down, Johnny Wood Jr. advances over Cameron Carden. Johnny was able to hang on for, a 28th spot result. Cody Dorsey will advance over Gray Walker, and so let's back up. Dan Stockaro, upset. Jason Bottoms, upset. Johnny Wood Jr., not an upset. Cody Dorsey, upset over Gray Walker. Moving on down the line, Kyle Clank moves on over Sam Dyer. Not a huge surprise. I think Sam kind of plays the back of the field a little bit to just stay consistent. Kyle's been up front recently. Sam put on a great fight, though. Sam did come home with the 15th spot, not too far back of Kyle Clank. Robert Moyer Jr. moves on over the 21st seed. That's Matthew. I got to think of who that would even be. Matthew.
Selby.
Thank you, Matthew Selby. Wasn't here at the end of the race. That's of course Zach King chiming in. And then on the left side, bottom matchup, Magnus Anderson does advance over Dakota Bly. Technically an upset, although Magnus has had great performances recently, and Scott Fritz survives over Jamie Plord. On the other side, how about Stephen Borbell? Kind of a default advancement over Ethan Johnson. Ethan Johnson not here tonight. Evan Patinko does technically upset Richard Wolsifer and move on. It'll be Caden Perkins hanging on over Anthony Teseo. Christian Barnes does technically upset Coulter Clark. Christian Barnes moves on. Let's see, it'll be Cole Lewis technically upsetting Tim Henderson. Cole Lewis moves on. Carl Poulter will hang on over Jordan White. We saw that earlier. Adam Buzzio hangs on over Braxton Skinner, and Dustin Stallings hangs on over Spencer Chisnall. The new matchups in the round of 16 at North Wilkesboro next week. A short track where anything can happen, just like we saw tonight, even though this was an intermediate. We will have Jason Bottoms and Dan Stockaro, a couple of upset winners from this round, up against one another. Then Johnny Wood Jr., Cody Dorsey. Johnny's easily the favorite there, but Cody Dorsey has been sneaky good lately. Kyle Clank has been fantastic as of late. He will be up against Robert Moyer Jr. Then we've got Magnus Anderson and Scott Fritz, two electric race car drivers that have been a lot of fun to watch at the front of the field. Scott's been stronger lately, but don't count out that 4-car. Moving on, you've got Stephen Borbell and Evan Patinko. Stephen, I think, the favorite there, but Evan, again, sneaky good. Evan finishes 7th here tonight, which is actually ahead of Stephen Borbell. Moving on, Caden Perkins versus Christian Barnes. I would say Christian Barnes actually is the favorite, but Caden's the higher seed. We'll see how that goes. Cole Lewis versus Carl Poulter. That could go either way. Those guys, sometimes they have good luck. It's like feast or famine for those guys. Either good luck or bad luck. We'll see how it goes. And the final matchup, Adam Buzzio and Dustin Stallings. I do hope to have a graphic for this next week. It's a big project, and it's a big undertaking. So we'll try and get a graphic for it, but that is how things look for the round of 16. I know it's a lot to take in, but if you're in the league Discord, of course, there's resources for you to keep up. Let's, for now, focus on just getting the heck on to North Wilkesboro Speedway, just up the road here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Some probably 2 hours of driving, roughly. Hour and a half, 2 hours or so. But before we go to North Wilkesboro Speedway here on Pit Stop TV, we have got to get through a mystery track this Thursday for the Sarah Pierce Fleet Service Super Series. That's coming up next on Thursday evening this week. Then, of course, on Sunday, we wrap up the major series for 2025 with Super Formula at Suzuka Circuit. Then we head out to North Wilkesboro Speedway, and then the schedule starts to lighten up. We do have the Fall Brawl that week with the Sarah Impel Motorsports National Tour. Dates still be, as far as dates that get broadcast, still to be determined a little bit. Keep an eye out on social media on the Sarah page mostly, but also ours for updates on exact scheduling and when we'll be live for that event. But that's a multi-day event throughout the week next week for the Sarah Impel Motorsports National Tour. And then it's on to Thanksgiving and just the rest of these winter races as winter really gets kicked off here in the United States. Big thank you to all the partners here with this series, and we have actually a driver of the day to give an award to, and that's going to be the newcomer. I can't believe it, Zach Hall. I think this might happen a couple more times this season based on his performance tonight. Zach Hall, incredible. The 32 car is one to be reckoned with. We'll see how he's able to contend moving on from here. But, boy, to wrap things up, a big thank you to those who help us get to these virtual racetracks each and every week. The Sundance Pizza Group, Ascendance Trucks, Idealies, KC Athletics, RevSimShop.com, Performance Food Group, Whiplash SimCam, CC's Business, and MX Wraps. And moving on, of course, our partners here at the channel, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. That's a mouthful. For myself, for Zach Murtis and Zach King. It's a late night for us. This one went on a little longer than maybe we expected, but it's been fantastic being here as always. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you all next time here on Pit Stop TV with the BRB Sundance Pro Series. This has been the MX Raps 250.